Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of African Frame. We are here with the awesome of Mr.
Wrong
Extraordin.
podcast.
It doesn't translate. You
No,
trademarked.
it's the right podcast. It's the right podcast because this is a hybrid of Africa is Next and African Frame, so it's fine.
All right. Well, anyway,
No, I'm
so
saying the
I'm
term
here.
awesome foursome doesn't sound too. It sounds too risky for this channel.
Anyway, okay. Yeah. Well, we're here with the four of us, and we're going to be covering a movie that came out in the 2000s, and you can feel it. But before we start, I just want to introduce everybody on the panel. So I want to start with the guy who owns the channel. This is Mr. Extraordin. So Mr. Extraordin has two channels. You might be seeing this video on both of them or whatever. So we've got African Frame where we break down movies and what's this? Sometimes you get like a TV series. Oh, there is his face. There he is. Yay. But yeah, you get movie breakdowns, you get commentaries, we cover new Metro news and all of that cool stuff and stuff like that on African Frame and stuff like that. So please check it out. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bells and all of that stuff. There's a lot of movie commentary on here that's very fun, very entertaining, and very insightful. And then we have his co-host, Rob Sebeko, author of Jin's War, and what's the other book?
Heist and
Heist, yeah.
And
you have three books, right?
Ball. Yeah, and Bludgeon Ball, yes.
Bludgeon Ball, yes. Mm-hmm. So these are on, I believe, the one I bought, Jin's War, was on Google Play. That's where I found it. So you can go check it out on Google Play. There'll be links in the description down below. Go check it out. It's actually a pretty cool book. I finally started reading it, finally. So yeah, please go check that out and all of that stuff. It's only $50. Come on, guys. Make sure you can support.
Bludgeon Ball?
Yes. He just mentioned Bludgeon Ball.
Oh, okay.
They mention it.
Yes. Also check Rob out on SJQ Pure. That's on TikTok. I believe also that's on Instagram as well. Yeah, you get like funny commentary stuff there. I saw the Lord of the Rings thing that made me laugh. With Sildur.
Oh, Sildur.
Also, someone can.
Yeah, it was just like, well, I mean, because that's not how it happens in the books, but like in the movie, I was like, yeah, Isildur, why'd you just let him walk out the?
And also, can you have a moment of silence? I'm still mourning that garlic that ended up on the ceiling.
Yes, I saw you like
Dude.
it. The garlic.
Did you even take it down from the ceiling, or is it still there? Is it still on the ceiling?
Oh my god, it's gonna turn into Gollum, or it's gonna talk about my precious on your
at night.
And then we have Mr. Kala from the House of Kala, the Golden Dragon, rapping the Protoss there in the background. What's this? He's got a channel called KC Media. On that channel, we have two podcasts. We've got the Nerdgasm podcast, where we also cover a lot of geek stuff that we don't usually cover on the Africa's Next podcast or whatever. We'll usually cover over there on Nerdgasm podcast. So if you're looking for like, why don't these guys talk about like Code Geass, you'll find it over there and stuff like that, etc. And then also we've got the Geek Spot. We recently, I believe you're editing the episode now, so there's an episode coming out soon. Geek Spot is where we interview
this weekend, hopefully.
There we go. Yeah. Crossing fingers. But anyway, so we interview creatives over there of all kinds, people who make games, people who cosplay, etc., people who are in the geek space, and people who are also outside the geek space but are geeks themselves or nerds themselves. So maybe you get like a guy who's a rocket scientist and you'll find out, oh yeah, no, I started doing rocket science because I was a fan of Star Trek. And you're like, whoa! So stuff like that.
Who knows? What the Geek Spot. We might be talking to a nuclear physicist from Africa.
And he's like, toot, 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 toot. But anyway, Yes, and then last but not least is me, your boy Buckmeister Cool, twice the nice that you were used to, Shablamson. I have 2 channels as well. I have Buckmeister Cool Reacts and Meister Geek Media. On Buckmeister Cool Reacts, that's where I do reaction stuff. I've slowed down heavily on reaction stuff, just because I've got another project that I'm busy with. But you can also find music I did there. You can find skits I did there, and Meister Geek Media, which is kind of the main focus right now. So on there, you'll find like rants. Sometimes I cover news. And I'm pushing this project called Black Panther versus Kang, which is part of a recast T'Challa campaign and all of that stuff. Because apparently now I'm the rallying point for canceling films. I didn't know this was a thing, but anyway, yes,
Apparently.
yeah. So basically, Black Panther versus Kang on Webtoons. There's 6 issues. The story's completed. The arc is completed. You can go read it from start to finish. And then I'm also working on an animation of this thing. So basically, I'm trying to get it into animated form so that people can start seeing the value in T'Challa. Because honestly, they ain't. So help me, please.
Massive shout out, man. Massive shout out. Your
I'm
stuff is great.
continuously amazed at Disney's ability to let go of to overlook $1 billion landmine after what we've watched today.
Hey, bag fumbling 101, dog.
Ooh.
Sure. No, but but anyway, and then I also got a Kofi link with the actual campaign where you can donate and all of that stuff if you want to donate and everything. But if you don't want to donate, and it's my birthday month, so if you want to help your boy out on your birthday month, that's how you can do it, is by donating to the campaign. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But hey, if you don't
Ooh.
want to donate, just go read it, leave a comment, help push it on the Webtoon so that Webtoons can push it up and let other people see it. That's another way that's completely free and easy. So you can go read it, leave a comment, share, all of that good stuff. But
And
anyway,
then, you know what? Comment below happy birthday after you've written right on the Webtoons. Just say birthday read. Yeah.
hey, that'd be
Comment
cool.
below.
But yeah, anyway, now that we've gotten all of that out of the way and all of that good stuff, let's get into some Titan AE. So,
Also known
I don't know.
as- this movie should also say AKA Protoss Slander.
Protoss slander. You think those things are the Protoss?
This movie should be called If the Protoss Were Evil.
Wow. Okay.
What's this if nonsense?
I knew it. I knew it.
If.
I need to get into this thing. What
You need
is-
to, because
what
just
is-
so you
what do
know,
guys?
for the people who don't
Buckminster
know,
and I are
Star
pretty
Wars,
much
Star Trek,
lost.
StarCraft starts with the Protoss blowing up entire planets that human beings are struggling on. Tabelo, explain yourself.
Excuse me. This is slandered most. The only thing they blew up was an annoying space station that was busy spying on the world. They didn't blow up a planet.
Oh God! Now we're battling. Oh, battling propaganda. Oh my gosh! I gotta see what StarCraft is about. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So this movie opens up with, it's okay. First off and foremost, I think one thing I want to say about this movie is the animation around the humans and the human actions is really good.
Yeah.
It's especially in the first part. I think you see a slow degradation of the animation quality as the movie progresses. But at the very beginning, the animation is very crisp.
I
It
agree with
looks-
you. It's basically inconsistent. There are moments where you see it slowing down, especially when they're
Yeah.
trying to do
Yeah,
a
but
360-degree sort of like angle of sorts.
I
It
don't think those
rotates.
shots. I don't think those shots were the shots where I was like, "This is like degrading in quality." I think where they kind of missed the mark a little bit was in the action. Because now that I'm studying animation now, I'm realizing that so there's this process called in-betweening, basically. So in-betweening, long story short, is when I'm moving my hand towards the camera, there's my start position and then there's my end position. Now there's the stuff in between that needs to also be there so that when I'm moving my hand, it looks like my hand is not
I must
teleporting.
stop. Let me stop. Why was I emulating your actions? What's wrong with me?
We are one in the color. Oh God. Anyway, yeah. So the whole idea is that, yeah, you need stuff happening in between so that humans can register, okay, this is a hand moving and not teleporting. And in the action scenes, some limbs are teleporting there. That's why it looks like this is a little bit off, which is strange because then I think I would have cut down on some of the other CGI sections to focus on that particular section of the animation. But anyway,
I want to spend some time explaining why this movie because this movie fumbled. In fact, apparently, not apparently, it's a fact. It fumbled so bad that Fox Animation Studios shut down. So,
whoa, it bombed that badly?
It shut down. Yeah, no, it was
it
bad.
fumbled bad.
But let me give you an idea of what they were talking about. So, this movie, it had a budget of
75,
just give
I
me a
think.
second, 75 to 90 million, and it only made 36.8 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? I know why. I can tell you why. Let's get into it. So, yeah, this thing opens and there's a kid. He's playing with this little toy of his. Tebelo, are you there? He looks frozen.
Forgetful. Let me just go off.
Okay, there we go.
Let me go off video.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
We can hear you.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay, I was saying one of the things that knocked up the expenses, to be fair, is that a lot of this thing was not really meant to be. They initially didn't even want it to be in animation at all. It was really written what was supposed to be like a sci-fi thriller from the get-go, but then it kept on being pushed back between different writers for a number of years, and that piled up the production cost. So before they even started animating, it racked up $30 million.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's I feel like that's on the studio, because like that's organizational problems.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I'd like, from that deficit, I'd actually deduct 30 million from that overall, because the way the studio was fumbling the ball before this thing even started was basically cursed it from the get-go, you know? That's what I felt like.
Yeah.
Is it really fair to judge it harshly then?
I think the idea itself was probably too ambitious, so the studio wasn't sure whether they should finance a live
I think they
action.
should have, anyway. I'm saying I think then they should have just gone traditional. But anyway, here we go. So as the movie opens, this kid Kale, he's like running and with this toy and everything, and then as the toy starts going.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
my meds are running out. I'm sorry.
Wait,
why
let's
name your
get to
child
the movie.
after a vegetable?
Let's get to the movie. Hold on, Kai.
2 sentences not past today.
Sorry.
Also, we are Dragon Ball Z fans. We can't make fun of that. Vegeta, Kakarot, our. Okay. Anyway,
this is human. Those are aliens.
So Kale is running and he's playing with this toy. He meets his dad. His toy is broken, so he's crying, and his dad is like, "We'll have to fix it later, but right now we gotta go because apparently the planet is on the verge of destruction." Reason being is because there's these things called the Dredge. Now, the Dredge are a bunch of CGI monsters, and they're a criticism of mine for this movie, and I'm going to explain why.
All right.
But anyway, after that, the Dredge basically heat up the surface of the planet. Earth is trying to evacuate as many people as they can. They're just trying to get people off Earth because this thing is about to blow, right? So Earth blows up, and then we get the title opening, which it was so tiny. I wonder why. I thought they would have tightened AE'd right in my face, but it was so tiny I had to like squint to see it, which was strange. Yeah, and then after that, then we cut to 15 years later. Kale is a grown man, technically, I guess, and he's like, I think that's another thing about this movie is this movie was too short.
Yeah, it's late for him. The whole thing is late for a meeting.
The pacing is very fast. The pacing of this thing is extremely fast.
Can you imagine? I picked up my toy at the beach. Oh, the world is ending. I knew that already. Oh, guys, I don't know why we took so long. I had to wait for my kid to play at the beach first, and then we're gonna leave for space.
Yeah, that's now that you mention that, it's like, yeah, wait a minute. You were a whole military leader. You knew this shit was blowing up. Why don't you put your son on a transport immediately?
Dog, why? Yeah, why is he playing by the water?
Hang on. This movie came out in the year 2000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to see how far is it from the evil cult? Maybe the guy who wrote the evil cult was involved in this hot mess.
No, okay,
God.
but let's be fair though. I think they handle exposition better in this movie. But moving on, right? So yeah, then he's like cutting the things, and this is establishing character basically. So you know that he's using alien tech. You know he's like skilled with alien tech, but you also know that he's a guy that it's easy to press his buttons. So
With
like
a
that guy
very
like bumps him. Like
with
that
a
guy
ve-
like bumps him over, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, well take this." And I was
Yeah.
like, if you busted that dude's like oxygen gauge or whatever, and he died, what would have happened?
Hey, but then again, if you get hit in the head with a 50-ton object, I feel like I get mad about that.
Yeah,
There's a lot of I don't even know whether xenophobia is the right word, but there's a lot of discrimination.
Most literal.
Right?
Right?
I was about to say that.
It is the most literal
definition of xenophobia.
Because they really, really
but
hate his
I
guts.
think, but I'm saying, I think it feels like shorthand. Like
Yeah.
I think one of the thing is, like if it would have been, it's an interesting idea. It's a very interesting idea to posit because usually it's the other way around. If you've seen a lot of
Yeah.
alien movies,
Yeah.
usually it's the
100%.
humans who are 100% wary of the aliens.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's very interesting to see a bunch of aliens go, nah. These humans and their nonsense and whatever. We need to get rid of them. We need to get them out of the universe. I think that's a
Right.
very interesting idea. That
Yeah,
it would be
agreed.
humans that are on the outskirts and aliens now are the ones like, we gotta watch this dude. This guy's human. You know what humans do. I think that's a very but they didn't I don't think they developed it.
I'm fighting so hard to rewrite that opening scene in my head.
I think
Because
But remember,
I want to take a page.
sorry, I
Sorry?
think a large portion of this movie of this script was probably like omitted. I think
Yeah,
the
possible.
original story was probably more detailed than this, but they had to cut it like short or something.
Cut it.
It's
Sorry, what were you saying, Tabella?
it's also giving that movie with John Travolta when he was walking with dreadlocks. What was the name of that movie?
Oh no. Not no
Well,
Babylon.
The one that is self-financed.
Yes. The
No, it's
Scientology one. Babylon AD, that's Vin Diesel.
no, not Babylon AD. What was it called?
Are you sure it's not after? No.
Something After Earth, yeah.
No.
Battlefield Earth. There you go.
Yes.
Oh, Battlefield Earth.
Yeah, it's giving a
With
whole lot of that.
Samuel L. Jackson, right?
Was he in that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, that is racist.
No,
He's
not
trying to
Sam
Forrest
Jackson.
Whitaker.
It's
He's trying to
Forrest
say Forrest
Whitaker.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
hate crime. Held my people back today.
You called
Yeah.
it. What's the movie called? I've never watched it. By the
Battlefield
way.
Earth.
Oh,
Yeah, Battlefield Earth. It was.
No,
It
no.
was. Yeah,
External,
that
trust
was.
me. Trust me. Don't watch it.
Don't watch it.
Don't bother. Save your time. Your life is too short.
No. Hey, if you wanna know what the blueprint for Rebel Moon was.
Oh my God! Why?
Yeah, and I know it's based on a book, right?
Yeah. By L. Ron Hubbard. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you want to know what the basis of Rebel Moon nonsense was, yeah. But anyway,
what I really wanted to say was like I was so tempted to rewrite the intro to this movie based on StarCraft and go like, the dredge brought ruin to our world. Our proud people became refugees, but they cannot shatter our unity.
I have 4
See,
gigs
they
left. I
can't.
hope it'll be enough for the rest of the video.
yeah.
Alright.
Okay. Anyway, so let's keep it going, man.
Okay.
Asan.
Just quickly, I just want to say one thing about the scene. I'm willing to defend it a little bit because in a 90-minute movie, like I don't think they made cuts. I think they deliberately made it 90 minutes on purpose. And this scene does like 3 things at once. Number 1, it establishes that he has attitude. In that split second, it shows that he fights back. Number 2, it establishes that he hates human beings. And if you add the next 30 seconds afterwards, it also explains that He also has problems with human beings. He doesn't want to be with the human beings. He doesn't want to be bunched up with them. He's an isolationist, and he's also, again, good at technology, which would be arguably in the opening scene was supposed to be, because remember that toy, he made it himself. So it's supposed to be like, okay, he's a genius. Okay, he's got a bad attitude. Okay, he doesn't want to hang out with the other human beings. He'd rather take a chance in a docking station than hang out with the human beings. So it does 4 things in the space of 5 minutes. So in terms of quality writing, I do think that's a clever way of doing something. We can argue whether or not it's effective, but it managed to hit 4 birds.
No, I think it was effective. I think the writing falls apart when we get to like the second and third act. I think that's where, because they do some big swings, and again, great ideas. Actually, it's just like, I think then you needed like I think that's the thing with short movies. I think when you make a short movie, you've got to be efficient. You've got to cut the fat. You can't have any sort of fluff or filler anywhere. Like everything needs to
100%.
connect so that you
It's
can
also, remember, let's not forget, during the late 90s, early 2000s, the average movie length, especially in the animated movies, was around 90.
Yeah, Little
95
Mermaid is
minutes.
90 minutes.
Yeah,
Little
so
Mermaid is 89 minutes even, actually.
so it's us who got spoiled for choice. Post Lord of the Rings, people then started toying with ideas of making super long movies where they can really massage you with detail and long-winded scenes.
Yeah.
But back then, man, like now you've got a human's attention span is this long, and after that, it's too much. So
Right.
we like put that filter on at that point in time.
So after he goes to the docking station and he meets the ship, he meets Akima, which is obviously, it's instantly that's going to be the love interest, because like I'm saying again, this opening is moving at a brisk pace, but it's establishing things, which I think is actually not bad.
Yeah,
all right.
Bullet point storytelling.
Yeah. I think one thing I think though is that if I think one thing that is hurting this movie is the trying to meld the 2D with the 3D.
Yes.
Like I think that's kind of an issue. So I'm like, if it was too much to use 3D models, I think they should have just gone traditional. It might have taken a little bit longer, and some of the shots may have been off model, but I think the aesthetic would have blended a whole lot better. Kind of like Treasure Planet.
I'm gonna get into
which is funny. The irony, because there's that sister.
I agree with you, but I think it was because at the time, I think Toy Story had just come out like a few years before this. Because remember, even though this movie came out in the year 2000, this movie was probably done in like 98, 99. So they probably wanted to like come up with something really great that would change the industry, but unfortunately it didn't work out.
Basically there was a changeover. The changeover from 2D, the 2D world was ending, and it started with this, and it effectively ended with Treasure Planet, which is a defensible movie. Like, this one is not a great movie. Treasure Planet didn't deserve the silence it got. You know what I mean? It didn't deserve the silence it got, but that was because people were now done. They wanted a new visual frame.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I think I think Treasure Planet drops after this. And definitely underrated movie. But I'm just saying, I think that had they gone that route, I think a lot of the style clashing would not have happened.
Yes.
But anyway, so after such, he meets her, they have a little fun moment. Like, that's another thing. They do have, like, especially around Kale and, like, especially around the main character and his love interest or whatever, but more Kale himself. They do have little moments and things which are appreciated to inform the character. I think they fall flat with other characters, and that's where the movie kind of loses its steam.
Yes.
But I'll give it to them that there's progression and development with Kale.
Well, I believe who wrote this, or who directed this movie? It was Jeff Blum or something like that, right?
No,
it was Don Bluth.
Yeah, there we go, Don Bluth.
And someone named
2 guys.
Gary Goldman.
Yeah, because all I know is like he's the guy who either produced or directed this thing is a legendary guy who wrote like Anastasia, for heaven's sake.
Yes.
So he knows how to create a compelling and attractive story. He was one of the things that used to compete against Disney at the time. So he did know what he was doing, but ultimately it was the last movie he ever made. But what I wanted to add is that and you can see that he knows the 2D world extremely well, because if you look at the character design of the 2D characters and the way they play with each other and the way he manipulates shape to make different characters look different, even with the aliens and the more animalistic characteristics, it looks beautiful. And then when
character designs are amazing.
When they throw this 3D thing, it has this, I don't know, I don't want to call it uncanny valley, because there's nothing uncanny.
No, I think you're right. It has a, yes, it is uncanny valley, because there's scenes where you're like I think Buck explained it perfectly with the whole thing, where you're like, he's not in the frame, like he's not in that room right now. Do you know what I mean? Like it almost feels like in the room. That person's not in there right now, and it's just It was.
Guys, there's a scene specifically that I just want to talk about quickly. Okay. When Kale wants to go into the ship, I think that's where they were living or whatever, and then there's traffic, and then he jumps in between some guys so that he can get in line, and then they push him back, right? The guy who's laughing next to him, you can see that there's no synchronicity between the tech he's in and the person inside. Like there's a bit of something doesn't work right there. It's as if the 2D
like they got it right on Kale, but like the two background characters, it was kind of
was off. Yeah.
But I think we got to get past this. So after wipe window and everything, then he basically manages to get his food. And his food is nasty looking and whatever, but I'm just like, dog, you probably need sustenance of some kind, and this can't be the first time you're eating this, because you're a whole grown man.
Yeah, why you acting like you're just eating it today? Managa, you're what? 18, 19? You've been eating this.
What did you eat this morning? What did you eat this morning?
Like, there's no way you're just starving and fasting for 19 years and healthy looking like that. But anyway,
he achieved enlightenment and grew beyond the need of physical sustenance.
He became what was the dragon warrior that can live off a single ginkgo leaf,
and the dew of a single ginkgo leaf.
This reminds me of the universe. It reminds me of New Girl. I don't know if you guys know New Girl, but usually when a scene like let's say a scene just cuts and then you get into another scene and then you just see people laughing. You don't really know what they're laughing about, and then the scene continues. Bruh, in New Girl, one of the characters, his name is Coach. He's like, bruh, stop doing that. I don't know why you keep laughing randomly, like as if we're talking about something funny. We're not. So I feel like even here, his stepdad or his guardian should have been like, why are you complaining as if you haven't been eating this thing for 19 years? Relax.
Whatever. What do you think you've been eating this entire time?
Just exactly. A stand-up act.
It's like they're trying to remake that Matrix scene when they're feeding Neo for the first time with that grow. But in this case, it doesn't make sense, because
Neo came out of the Matrix. He was eating burgers and steak, and then he woke up in the real world, and now he's eating this fake ass porridge. Yeah. So it's just like, that makes sense. Don't diss my brother like that, bro. Come on. But anyway,
that was more my talk.
So anyway, after that happens, then we get introduced to, what was his name? Corso. So, well, no, first off and foremost, was this Kale decides to like wander into some area where apparently they're looking for him or something. He's not supposed to be down there, and then we get this is where we get the xenophobia. Basically, we don't want your kind around here, boy. Basically, so the aliens start discriminating. Kale, like, dog, you needed to have hands, my guy, for the amount of chest bucking you were doing.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's almost like he didn't know he was gonna get jumped. It was very confusing. Like,
I was just like, do you know how to fight? Like, you were.
But also, shout out to Matt Damon for his voice acting in this thing. It's not bad.
Oh, it was Damon.
Damon?
It was Matt Damon.
I'm the opposite of shout out. I think him and Brad Pitt in Sinbad, it's okay. it's not amazing. Like, I don't know, man. I just
No, it's not. It's not amazing, but it's not horrible. It's not horrible.
Sinbad,
Drew Barrymore voice.
Sinbad. If that was Matt Damon in who played
that
Sinbad?
was Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt was Sinbad.
Yeah, it was Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no. Then Brad Pitt
And also
did better than Matt
Akima, it's Drew Barrymore, by the way.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, and that guy. What's this guy's name again?
Gary Oldman is up here.
Yeah, of course.
I want to know,
aka Timon from Timon and Pumbaa.
I want to know. Oh, that explains a lot more. But anyway, I want to know who was voicing the Dredge, because him and I, they and I have got words.
I think it was just some executive or something.
That anybody could have done that. They were just making monster noises.
I know.
The janitor could have done that job. You know what I mean?
His name is Christopher Scaraboy Soyo. Yo, that's a tough one.
I hope we're saying it right. But anyway, so getting back to this scene. So yeah, he gets jumped, and like I think the other thing is that they don't really address the disadvantage humans have because of the physiology of the aliens.
Right.
Which I think would have been kind of interesting. But I just think that like it felt to me it was weird that Kale would be living amongst he's basically an isolationist, right? Mm-hmm. Like he's alone on all sides at this point in his life. So I'm just saying it would be weird to me that he wouldn't work on some like defense mechanisms of some kind.
Some survival skills.
I'm not saying he has to be a mixed martial artist or whatever, but like for example, like how Iron Man was. Like how Iron Man was moving in Iron Man 3, where he's like got all these little knickknacks and gadgets and whatever to like disable foes or something like that. I feel like Kale would have like in his pocket, he'll open it and then it'll like flash a light and then he can run away or things of that nature. Because he's also a technical genius, I feel like he would be doing stuff like that.
Or just have a robot sidekick. I was literally playing with a robot toy. I thought at least.
Yeah.
Pull an Anakin Skywalker, you know what I mean?
He invented that toy. Didn't he say invented it or what?
Yeah, he did. I'm just saying, like, bro, you can't buck your chest without a plan B.
Yeah, like it's a Rey Skywalker situation. I can't believe I'm actually defend Star Wars here, but yeah, Rey Skywalker may have been a little bit better with that because she could defend herself with the staff at least. Remember, she gets jumped by those guys.
Oh, okay.
She defends herself in the opening thing.
No, Force Awakens up until the end, she is something. And then they take away all of her character development. Yeah. Granted, her character development was not as deep as Finn's, because I'll tell you now, from Force Awakens, the guy I remember is Finn. I don't remember exactly what Rey was doing in that movie. But anyway, point being, so after he gets jumped, Corso comes in, helps him, and just ties up these aliens, which I'm like, do you have super strength as well? What's going on here? But anyway, okay, sharp. And then Kale again. No plan B. He starts kicking these aliens, and I'm like, dog, if they get out of there.
Man has the intelligence of the vegetable he's named after.
Yeah, no. Kale is that nigga. It's like that nigga when there's mob justice, he comes after the guy's deceased.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want no smoke. You know what I mean? Like.
Just kicking. But I'm saying he comes after and he talks the most shit. It's just like, bro. But anyway, yeah. So after that happens, then Corso tries to convince him to do this thing. Then he's like, I didn't need help with these morons. And then Corso says, oh, okay, you didn't need help. And like, this is the thing that's interesting. Because when we look at Corso, who's a whole bag of worms on his own, I'm just like, why did you untie them?
Because he's the biggest douchebag.
I liked it, dude. It was like, oh, you got a big mouth. Okay, no, fair enough.
Yeah, but I'm saying the problem is that when you communicate when you communicate how much you need this guy, those aliens are going to kill him. But anyway.
Yeah, he just thought this poor child needs a bit of humility. He doesn't understand that that humans currently are at the bottom of the food chain.
Yep. But anyway,
I mean, I get that, but I feel like there may have been a better way to communicate that lesson. But anywho, sorry, Rob, you were saying?
Trying to get things done. I think the story is trying to get things done quickly, while at the same time having a little bit of fun, I guess. But you'll notice that this is the rejection to the call of arms. At this point, they're just copying Star Wars at this point right now, where it's like Luke Skywalker is like, your dad was a Jedi. Come on, buddy. And he's like, no, thanks. I've got to go work the farmland. And then, yeah, we all know what happens when he gets back to the farm. But yeah, that's probably what the next scene is. Yeah.
I mean, the difference is that like this guy's not loyal to anybody. Like it seems like because he's like the only guy he's loyal to is his guardian, who is the guy who got him away from the planet when it was exploding, basically. Which there's that's another thing here. There's a lot of lore to mine because you kind of want to know how his dad met this alien, why they're so tight, and why he was like looking after this kid. Because that's another thing. I think in this scene they should have had one of the dredge kill the guardian. I think.
Yeah.
Simply because if we were not going to spend time with him anyway, I feel like there should have been the emotional impact of this guy sacrifices himself so that Kale can get away. And then he can kind of inform Kale's character as to why this is so important, that even an alien will sacrifice himself for a human being. If you get what I'm saying.
They decided to kill the cockroach for no reason.
That was a weird one.
That was weirdly brutal.
It was weird and it was brutal. Because the other thing is like, why didn't you supposed to know this shit? Why don't you just go down the hatch the way the humans went?
Why didn't you follow them? Why did you chill? Like cockroaches have better survival skills than this. What is happening?
Yeah. You ever try to catch one in your kitchen? Oh my god. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, then he basically makes it back to the table. He says like, yeah, I gotta vie because some bras are gonna be out here to kill me. And then the dredge come in.
Yep.
And I mean, no, Corso comes in and also says, hey, what's up, dude? Because he knows the alien guy, because apparently they tight like that too.
Yeah.
Corso comes in, and then after that, the dredge come in and they start blasting up the place. And the interesting thing about the dredge is that they seem keen on getting humans, but they don't seem to care about other aliens.
Dog, they seem to be a part of the committee. They're like, they're part of the people. They're friends with everyone else. It's just human beings specifically.
Human beings must die.
No, it's not even that though, Rob. Because if you look at the way that they are operating, they don't care about other aliens. Like if other aliens are in the way, they're dead.
Okay, yes. Okay, fair enough. Yes, but like the other aliens give them access. Yeah, come in. Yeah, it's fine. Like
that's the weird part. Like I'm like, does everybody fear the dredge and they just let the dredge do whatever they want? Do the dredge have whole autonomy over this entire sector? Is it Frieza?
This sector? Yeah, what's going on?
No. From what I get, the dredge hate humans specifically.
And the other aliens are like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's.
Look, I'm not human, so
but I'm saying like the thing is, but I'm saying the thing is the dredge don't mind like collateral damage. Like for example, we addressed it. I'm saying, but we also like addressed it with the cockroach. Like I didn't understand why the dredge killed the cockroach alien because I was just like the cockroach alien is giving you the humans, so you should probably go after the humans. And the dredge was just like, nah, fuck your bullshit. You serve trash food.
Yeah, you talk too much.
They probably saw him as a traitor.
Yeah.
So
I wonder why, but I'm saying anyway. And then we get like the scene is not bad, but I think one thing is that this thing didn't really prioritize itself around action. I feel like maybe they should have. I feel like what they should have done is because I feel like what happened is like the animators here focused on the quality of how the characters looked, but not on the quality of the action. And I think I would have dropped the quality of some of the line work and all of that stuff to have more fluid action.
Funny enough, I would have done the opposite. I would have said, okay, guys, maybe let's not. For example, the next sequence that we're going to get into, I actually think they should have cut the whole thing. Because clearly, I feel like character moments are more important because that's what matters. Him in love with her, in love with the plot. Also, his mind, them changing his mind. Because the whole idea is that he has to change his mind to save the humanity.
No, true. I mean, but I think the thing is also the reason why they did it is because, I mean, they're following like Hollywood rules. I think you kind of need a hook. And you also kind of need to explain Corso's character a little bit. Because, like, at that point in time, nobody had an idea of what Corso is. Maybe a happy medium between what you and what we're saying, Rob. Maybe instead of a whole blowout action scene, like, have them have a shootout with those three dredges, and then they just get to the hangar bay and they get to the ship.
Yeah.
I think maybe just like we don't have the whole where we're winding and going through tunnels and stuff.
Yeah.
They just like Corso just badass kills those 3 things and then they just get out the saloon and run to the ship and get out. I think maybe that might have worked better.
As the resident action junkie of the group, one of the things that just sold to me that this isn't really, they weren't really focusing on the action sequences, because the first thing I thought when I saw everybody evacuating Earth, for me was like, where are the defense forces? I'm seeing a whole lot of helicopters, but not nearly enough explosions. Where are the fighter squadrons? Where are the battleships? Where is anything?
Where's security?
Yeah.
Where's ADT? I'll take coin.
Where's Scorpion?
Where's my Amatamaha?
Give me something. You can't have 3 aliens roll up fully armed
and then blow up the planet. I mean, that's what I'm like. I would have liked to have seen like, oh, we lost the battle. Now we are in the evacuation stage. But show me the aftermath of the battle at least. Like, show me the hopelessness at that point in time. Show me something. But because it doesn't...
Or again, like we're saying, cut it down. Maybe don't show all of that. Maybe don't show all of that preamble with the kid. Maybe you just cut to the guys are in the ship and escaping and the planet explodes.
Yeah,
I think I think that's the thing. Like the way they were cutting this movie, that's why you gotta be efficient.
Which got the destruction of Earth right without having so much action sequences like that.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
No,
well, not really Star Wars because it's not.
No, what you call it? You're gonna laugh at this. What is?
I guess we won't laugh at it. Okay.
Hey. Develo, you're breaking up. So we'll come back to that thought. Please hold on to it.
I agree with what you're saying.
When I needed most.
Wait, he's back. You back?
What's the movie?
Oh,
we didn't hear anything you said.
I forgot. Okay, no, that movie was so long, and thank you for the fish.
Oh, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Thank you. They destroyed the Earth, but you don't. We don't get to see Titanic battle and anything. It was just a formality.
Yes.
Well done. And I got the sense that the movie, it caters more to the actual story than wham bam, thank you ma'am type action sequences. And it still was very interesting.
See, that's a good point. Because it's contradictory. Yeah. I agree with you. Because with that one, with the opening act sequence, they don't fight back. The human beings just try to run away and they get annihilated. Okay, so then these things are all encompassing. But then he shoots them down, but then we can fight. Turns out we can shoot them. And it's like, okay, but that's contradictory. I can't. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Rob, you were saying?
No, I'm actually, that was what I was going to say. I was going to say
okay.
There's a content.
But I think I just also want to say that something that we hardly see in movies is the debris actually like really killing other spaceships or whatever. Because you hardly see that. Usually when a planet just explodes, it's as if there's nothing there anymore. Like you don't really see any debris whatsoever.
Maybe because I watched way too much. Also, no, I've seen plenty of that, and that's thanks to Star Trek. Watch Star Trek Voyager when the Borg were being destroyed by this super powerful alien species. They blew up a couple of planets, and you can see the debris actually pelting apart all the Borg ships, and almost destroying the one Borg ship that Janeway is busy parlaying with at the same time, so they had to move it away. It's a very beautiful end to that episode, and that took place donkeys of years ago. So it does happen. Yeah. Some people do think
One Punch Man also has debris.
Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so yeah, after they get into the ship thing, yeah, basically then it's Kale. First off, like they're poking and prodding him, and there's a lot of adult jokes in this. Like it's reaching that uncanny valley of it's not as blatant and it's not as like jarring, but it is touching like Gen 13 areas, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, bruh, Amika looks like the character from Gen. She looks like Roxy. Like there was a point in the early 2000s where the characters sort of looked the same Because even Kale, it kind of looks like John from Pocahontas, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that disaster of a movie. Oof. But anyway.
The movie which shall not speak by its name.
Yeah. So I'm saying, so yeah, they're poking and prodding him, and like there's a joke like, oh, where does the alien probe go? Oh, I think I'm doing fine, and etc. And it's like, why am I naked? And like you're still getting you're getting character development in you like Rob was saying, they are doing bullet point storytelling in this scene because there's this other character. What was his name? Lanky dude with the Spider-Man arm webbing.
The one who's voiced by Timon.
No, that can't be Timon. Is that Timon?
Yeah,
it's Timon, bro.
The long lanky evil dude.
Yeah. That's why good voice acting. That's such good voice acting.
That's Nathan Lane, bro.
Yeah. But at the same time, you also see the remnant of the age of queer coding villains. Because how did I know?
100%.
There we go. His name is Predex.
Yes.
I agree with you, Tebella. He was clearly queer. Clearly.
And I was like,
that never even crossed my mind.
Not really for me. What crossed my mind is obviously this dude is low-key evil. I never saw the...
Yeah, I was thinking Scar.
For me, it's that scene where they were trying to sneak in, and then that scene with the guard. We'll get there. But for me, I was like, there's no way.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, but I mean the other thing is though, he has that whole thing with Rock. He's like, Akima, I want you.
Yes, I was gonna say that.
So yeah, and he was like trying to lick her hand and stuff like that. So I was kind of.
So did Jafar wanted Jasmine at some point, but it still didn't escape the queer coding. That's because
you know what it is. It's the eyes. It's the eyes. If you have dark eyeliner,
you have eyeshadow.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I can see the sassiness in Jafar. This guy just felt like slimy. He didn't feel like sassy. He felt like slimy and.
I saw it. I honestly see what they were talking about for sure.
I didn't clock it, so I guess we're split in this camp.
Yeah, that one we're going to be split on. But ironically, this is actually where I get more upset, is because to me, there's good dialogue here. It sounds great, but it also sounds awful. Like it almost sounds like the dialogue is flat. Like I don't know.
You know what? You know why I think that's happening is because I don't think anything is kind of connecting. If you get what I'm saying. It feels like the dialogue here isolated in this scene works fine, but none of it plays out later, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
So
also, I don't know about you guys, but did you feel anything for these characters?
We'll get into it.
At this point in the movie.
At this point in the movie, we'll kind of get no, because they do a thing, the thing is with Corso and the stuff that he's presenting, right? It does kind of work a little bit because we've been introduced to Kale, he's a complete isolationist. He's given up on humanity, right? So the whole arc is for him to go from this guy who's given up on humanity to somebody who believes in humanity again.
Yes.
So Corso
to become this version of Jesus.
Yeah, so Corso, right? He's poking and prodding at that wall, saying there should be a person in there somewhere. And then you kind of get character backstory with Akima, because he's like, oh, we're not going to be helping those bum human colonies or whatever. Yes. And Akima gets pissed and throws his pants in his face to indicate that, yeah, that's where she grew up. And then also Predex is like, oh, yes, so you actually are, not totally oblivious to your situation because, yeah, that's where Akima grew up. So you get that. And then you also get the fact that Predex is, again, for me, I just saw he was a slimy opportunist who would take any opportunity to poke and prod at people. So he just saw an opportunity to poke and prod at Kale. But anyway.
But actually, it's funny enough, again, like you're saying, a lot of this is so workable. Again, with them being weirdly okay with him being naked, perfectly fine. You know what? They're all on a small spaceship. Makes sense to me. If you're all close together, you guys ever watched The Expanse?
No, I haven't watched The Expanse, but I've heard about it.
Okay, but basically there's a whole like small spaceship culture thing. When you live on a spaceship, you get weirdly close to each other. In fact, you kind of get weirdly intimate with the Expanse. But the point is, I almost understand the connection that's flowing there, and it feels good. But I would almost argue there's something wrong with the actual sound. Like, I don't know what the word is, like sound mixing. Like, I'm not a sound engineer.
Oh, sound design. Some
Yes,
of the sound design is, yeah, some of the sound design is weird.
like, I feel like if we were to get a professional, God, and I know one, to actually watch this movie, I feel like they could be like, no, there's mistakes being made here that is ruining it, because this is a better movie. Like, I think if they made this movie live action, it wins awards.
Which is exactly what they're arguing.
No, I think if they, I would say that if they didn't go halfway, I think the problem is that this movie went middle of the road, especially style wise. And I think if they committed one way or the other, because I think, remember at the time when they made this movie, animation may have been on its way out, especially like traditional animation, but it still had some goodwill. Like, so I think if they, like, if this pulled a Treasure Planet at the time that it came out, I think it would have hit harder than what they were doing here. That's what I think.
If they had slowed down the pacing a bit, I think. Because this thing is rushing.
And maybe I'm also channeling my inner marketing degree. If this was marketed a little more energetically.
There's also that.
It could have been. But like I said,
also this movie doesn't feel like it's for kids though.
It's not.
No, it's not. But I'm saying it's in that uncanny valley where a kid could watch this. Yes. You could get away with it.
I think it was more designed for teenagers.
I mean, yeah, maybe it's in that YA, that young adult, like kind of.
But because the themes were dark. They're trying to move away from the whole wholesome goody two shoes thing. They thought kids don't want to hear princesses scream at the screen anymore. They want to see hardcore violence, like.
And the sexual innuendo was really like on the nose. Yeah, they were not even trying to hide it.
Well, it's not as bad as the last movie we talked about. What's its name?
Oh, Gen 13.
Gen 13, because that it was right in your face.
Sometimes legitimately, but anyway, yeah.
So I almost choked on my drink.
So after that stuff and everything, then he meets up with Corso again, and again they're developing Kale in this scene with Corso. I think that's where some of the writing does fall flat, because we don't get insight into Corso. Where I think that's where, if we got some more insight into Corso, then I think what happens later with Corso would have been much more impactful. Because right now, Corso is just a mouthpiece for humanity needs to come back. But it would have been nice if we got a moment with him where we see there's breaks in the armor here. You don't believe what you're saying, but you need Kale to believe what you're saying. I feel like if we got a moment of that.
Yeah, he could have been better at lying. I agree with that one. It could have been better there.
Yeah.
This movie probably should have been at least 10 minutes longer. But at the same time, I do like what they were trying to do with a lot of because me and Kutsu have talked about dialogue before, about the whole multitasking thing with dialogue and action and scenes. And it felt like they were very clever with the first act. And this second act that they're doing falls apart, in my opinion. Like, it really flops. This is to me the worst part of the movie, by the way.
Yeah. I can see that. So yeah, him and Corso are talking, and there's this one line where I was just like, oh, okay, like, Kale, relax. He was like, I'll show you. Like, basically, he's like, if I don't like how things are going, I'll show you how much I'm like my father, and I'll leave. And I'm like, you're in the middle of nowhere. There's literally no civilization around you. Where are you going?
If you're in space on his ship, if you were on land, that might have been a bar. Oh, this nigga's spitting. But no, you're in space.
Like, also, how dumb is he to always be thinking that his dad didn't give a crap about him? Well, like, the earth was exploding, bro. You think your dad went to go get milk?
I think the thing is, the thing is that, look, to the movie's credit, they do cover that. they do have an arc around that, which is why I don't really hold it against him at that moment. But I do think there's the thing of my dad said he was coming to get me and he never came.
Yes,
so it's him being childish, but you see where it comes from.
Also, being a hero doesn't mean that you were around to play catch. I mean, I get it, you died brave, but you know, a kid is bound to be upset anyway, so I kind of accepted it.
Yeah. So this is basically a realistic take on how Gohan should have behaved.
Yes.
All right.
And Gohan should have had a phase where he's like, screw textbooks, I'm upset.
Yeah.
You know what
I'm fighting. That's why he was so mean to Cell. Like he was like, some of my dad's cells are in here.
And I'm going to beat the living crap out of each and every one of them.
Let me think about my dad.
Like, I'm punching Goku in here.
Thinking of you, Dad.
He should have had a rebellious phase where even the Z fighters try to intervene, but he kicks all of their asses. It's like, I'm stronger than all of you guys. What are you trying to do? Like,
I know we're joking, but I'm actually being serious. Yeah, give me a teenage Gohan. I would have loved that.
Oh, please. We all know who was going to stop him in the end.
Piccolo.
Yes, Gohan. This isn't you.
Just having a crash out.
All of a sudden, it's this Piccolo pulls up with a flute.
Yes. And like, Gohan, you think you have daddy issues? Ask me about my father. Tell me what my father did. Tell me where's my father. Answer me, Gohan.
But I also think Dende would have also said something because they sort of grew up together. My nigga, I watched my whole planet die. Like get destroyed.
I watched
like the longest 5 minutes of my life.
Yeah.
And that turned out fine.
Yeah. I want to go to the angle of the Dende from Team Foster, who has a massive crush on Gohan.
Okay. Anyway, we gotta move on. Anyway. So then they decide to find this planet. I forgot what the aliens are called. They're like bird aliens. And this is where I'm like, you see, you should have cut some of that stuff from the beginning and spent some more time here.
The ring and all.
No, he shows the ring and everything in the map and stuff. We've covered, we didn't cover it, but yeah, basically Corso has the ring. He puts the ring, and then we get this map on Thingy's hand. We also get introduced to some of the other. Yeah, sorry, we need to also talk about some of the other crew members, the 2 crew members specifically. So there is Stith,
the brains of the brains.
Whose voice actor is actually pretty good in this. I think she did a good job. The character design is strange. I feel like the bow-legged thing doesn't work for me. I
genuinely thought like it would have made sense if she's way too tall for the ship. But because like it seems like she's like that all the time, I'm like, no, this doesn't make sense. It's as if she's deformed or something.
Wow. No, and I get it. She's an alien, and I understand, but I'm just saying, I think the shape language is kind of clashing. Like, the way they designed it, it's like, this feels a little bit off kilter, because also when she's walking, it looks awkward.
Yeah. The design itself is actually fantastic, but the way it's put in the screen, like, there's times where it's like at an angle, like a 3/4 angle, and you're like, is she on the ship right now? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like she's
No, and then also when they have to have her move and do actions, the the torso part looks fine, but the legs look a little like
how does she run?
Wobbly. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like,
would she ever run in any situation?
Oh, that would be amazing if we saw her on land running and she just got tall and just took off. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like something like that. Like if she's having to squat because of her height, that's cool. But it didn't seem like they were playing it like that. And there's also like an action scene there's also an action scene that she has, and because her limbs are awkward, the action scene also feels awkward.
Right.
But anyway,
that's what I was thinking. That initially I thought it was because maybe she's way too tall for the ship. That's why she's doing what she's doing. She's squatting of sorts.
Yeah. So
we all
to her muscles.
Cannon. Huh? What?
Props to her muscles. Do you know how painful it is to squat for that long?
Maybe it's
any of you guys went to the gym?
maybe it's a it's her alien because of her alien thingy. John Leguizamo was Goon, eh?
Yeah, that was
Goon.
weird. Yeah.
John Leguizamo was Goon?
Dude, Jim Brewer was the cook. This had a weirdly good cast. Jim Brewer is like a comedian, used to work with Dave Chappelle. But the way my headcanon is that the gravity forces her to go down. Like, I'm sure if she was in a smoother gravity, she'd have been in a better location. Should have been.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, then we also meet Goon, who is he's like the science head. He's like, he's the weirdo scientist archetype that's like playing and tinkering with things. He's inventing things in his sleep.
Talking to himself and all of
yeah, and he's like licking his hand and stuff and licking people's hands and stuff like that.
Also known as the Steve Urkel of the group.
Yeah, probably. So then we also get to see.
So this is before John got that Ice Age gig, I'm assuming.
I'm guessing. So then then we get to see a reestablishment of Kale's genius again, which is good. It's good when a movie does remind you that a character has a specific like skill set and they don't just randomly forget it. And then
is that his? Is he a mechanic?
He's kind of an all-rounder. He's kind of an inventor. He's an inventor, or like he's like an engine. Yeah, I'm saying like he's low key like a Tony Stark, if you get what I'm saying. Like Tony Stark is good with programming and he's good with building things.
Yes.
So that's kind of what this guy is. After he does his thing, and then that's what's supposed to be like, and that's where you needed, I think, maybe 10 more minutes, as Rob was saying, because it kind of like they wanted to establish a thing between him and Goon, if you get what I'm saying, like a friendship between him and Goon, because they're connecting over science and technology and reading maps and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So basically, Goon would have been like the weird friend that Kale has that acts weirdly, but because they have a kinship in science, Kale is like, I'm cool with this guy, if you get what I'm saying.
There's a thing that I always think about when my writing. I don't know if you guys do as well, but it's why do they like each other? When I something, I go back and why do these people like each other? And there's no reason for like her and him and Stith to be friends. And remember, they like, okay, no, Captain is doing something wrong. We're gonna join so and so, and it's like, okay, why? Do you know what I mean?
I would say the thing is with Stith, again, they didn't establish it. I feel like I'm inferring, which is a failure on the story's part.
Exactly, it's us writing.
But it's us writing. But Stith was close with Akima.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think she went to bat for Akima, because her and Akima, they do show, but it's in snippets. It's so brief.
Yeah.
And that's a mistake when you're doing character writing. You can't make it. You can't make me do headcanon now, because now you're making me do homework for your movie.
Exactly.
Unlike in X-Men 97, where you actually understood that Jean and Storm were close.
Yeah.
They make it very clear.
They make they're friends. Yes.
Yeah.
So because we get that whole thing, and then we go to this weird planet with the gas bombs and whatever, which is like what's this? I don't know how they receive visitors at all if your whole planet is made of gas bomb trees, but okay. And then
that didn't make sense at all to me.
Also, and like this is what I'm saying, like this is where you needed either 10 more minutes, or you needed to cut like some of the opening, like especially like with the planet exploding. I would have taken that time and put it here.
And funny enough, I was thinking about you and sorry to cut you off. I was thinking about you and Rob here. I was like, Mark and Rob are not happy with this world building at this point in time. They're not happy with this.
Now my question was why? Wait, why? Like, for example, how does this bird know that when you point your palm to the sky, it will give you directions?
Yeah. And also, who are these people?
Yeah.
Did they create these rings? It would have made sense if they created the rings, because they seem to be like these religious group of sorts.
They should have been in the car with them in the opening scene. Do you know what I mean?
Or something like, was this? It would have been better like if the ring had recordings of his dad, and his dad is telling him to go to this planet and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of this custom.
Also,
to endorse himself to these people, so that then they can show him how the map works. Or whatever.
So that to pull in a Princess Leia, help me, Obi-Wan. Also, help me. Son.
Yeah.
Your only hope.
They sort of treat the dead like a Jor-El type of character, if you think about it. The planet is about to explode. Take my son away. Have like a recording that you guys can.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think what they could have done is that with this planet in particular, it wouldn't have to be a long scene. I'm just talking 1 or 2 minutes. But I'm just saying, like, basically just say, like, have the dad say that I made this discovery when I made my way to this planet over here, and I took that discovery back to planet Earth to give us a fighting chance against the dredge or whatever. So do this. Do this custom. Yeah, so do this custom or whatever. Or when you get there, you bow like this. Or when you get there, you talk like this and whatever. And they will show you how to use this technology that I discovered working with them and all of that stuff. And maybe even say they have established themselves as an enemy of the dredge, because maybe they are also like they could have said these aliens are like preservers of the universe. Maybe they're just like people who believe everybody in the universe has a place. So the dredge try to wipe out the humans. They're not necessarily just siding with the humans because they like humans, but they're like siding with the humans because they think humans are necessary for the cosmos. So if humans, for example, so like if humans, for example, said, okay, we need to wipe out the cockroach aliens, maybe these guys would side with the cockroach aliens to defeat the humans. Like you make them a neutral party like that.
Those were my thoughts exactly, because I was asking myself why they're helping these guys in the first place. But in my head canon, I thought, okay, it's probably because they really want all creatures to survive. So that's why they're helping them.
Isn't it fascinating how we are doing so much homework for this poor movie?
Yeah, just writing.
Dude, we are connecting the dots like it's crazy.
We've got so much headcanon, and we could be rewriting the 8th season of Game of Thrones. Dear Lord, we are really hitting hard.
And here's the thing. Most of the time, we're not even disagreeing with each other about what we're saying. Like,
we've all got our own headcanon for this thing. Best solution is still to cut the whole thing. Skip.
If you don't have time for it, like that's another thing, guys. Just movie writers out there. If you have an hour 30, trim the fat. If there's no need to go to this alien planet, just say that I can read the Kale can read the map and start making your way to the ice caves if you're not going to dab into the lore. If you're just going to take these big swings, because that planet stuff, right? You could have cut that to develop Corso.
I think they also needed to have that scene. The only reason they even had the planet scene with the bat people, is it bat or bird people? Because sometimes they remind me of
bat birds.
It's sort of like pterodactyls.
With the pterodactyl people, is that they needed to find a way to have Vegetable Boy get captured.
Yeah, but okay, here's what.
Okay, go ahead.
Big ship, small ship.
Yeah.
Of course, mathematically, big ship is always faster than small ship. Oh, they caught up. Now let's make a plan to like hide. They get caught. They escape. They think they meet up again in the middle, and then they carry on.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Is that I think this is where they landed at to try and have that. I think
splitting up the team.
You know, we are all writers, so we all fall under the burden of having a final end scene that we need to have, and then finding ways to have the scenario bend and warp to meet that one particular point point in the story. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so like
but I'm saying, like, to Rob's point, I think there was for example, I think maybe what they could have done is if they needed to include this planet, say like the map took them to the planet because they need a particular part for something, then on the planet they meet the aliens, they get captured, and then they have to run the gauntlet to chase this thing. I just think like when people are making scenes, sometimes as artists, and I think like this is a thing, they get overindulgent about the things they're designing, and they want to show off those things instead of serve the story. And I feel like you have to put like the story is the horse, and the art is the cart, if you get what I'm saying. If you put the cart before the horse, now what are we looking at?
Do you know, it just seems like these two writers were not aligned when they were writing the story. It seems like the ideas. And
I just need to let you know, guys, even though it's written that it's written by those two people, there are a lot of other writers because it was picked up and dropped by so many people going along that you can see a skeleton of somebody else's skeleton of somebody else's skeleton that just that appeared in the final storyline. So we can see that maybe in the original storyline they had something of a law with regards to the pterodactyl people.
And I just want to add something quickly.
God, I sound more racist than the Protoss.
I'm sure you guys have done this as well, but when you read drafts of movies that have already been made, some drafts are actually better than what actually came out. So you probably think that there was probably a draft that was so good that they took the good parts from that draft. That's why some of it is really good. But then for the most part, then they did their own thing. They're like, okay, because there's clearly different ideas here. I don't know what might be the reason, but there's different writing styles and ideas.
Yeah, most definitely. So anyway, they Marcus, so long story short, Kale and Akima get captured. And here's where the weird thing happens. So they're in this alien ship, and this is where they're bonding or whatever. And I'll say this, for a movie moving this quickly, I always thought they were going to shorthand the relationship. And to their credit, they didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, because I mean, it does feel like of all the unnatural stuff in this movie, that does feel like the most natural.
Yeah. I would still call it clunky, but I agree with you. It is the best feature. And at first I was upset about it, but then in a later scene when they do the montage, I actually felt better about it. And I was like, okay, now I'm happy. When they do
but that's what I'm saying. Like, for example, I thought that they were just going to shorthand it in this scene, and I was going to be like, this is way too rushed.
Yes.
But you do get to see that Akima, what she's doing is she's appealing to his better nature via her nostalgia.
Yes.
Like, this is where Kale is starting to remember the value of humanity through her memories, if you get what I'm saying. And I think that's where they should have, like, for example, cut that planet scene, develop Corso a little bit, and split it between, like, Corso and Akima or whatever. So you can see two sides of the same coin. You can see a person who's genuinely interested in getting humanity back, and you could see a guy who's given up on humanity but wants to use Kale to get whatever means that he's trying to get. I think that would have been a fascinating balance.
Like a Yandu in Guardians, in a way.
Yeah, but I actually think what you're saying actually had a very similar idea to what you're saying. My idea was, see, right now, it's all about him and her. Like, okay, he likes her, right? And then she gets jettisoned instead of being killed. That's its own thing. She gets jettisoned. He's like, I want her. I don't care about the thing. I want her. And then when the montage comes, it becomes, oh, yeah, there's other people. Turns out those slums or whatever I called them were actually a lot gooder. And then it expands. Do you know what I mean? So you get one reason, two reason. I just think that would have been a lot smarter.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying I think also just to balance what happens with Corso, because when we do get to it, I think it was a genuinely good idea. They just didn't develop it. But anyway.
I just want to say something, because I heard you mention something like you would have liked it if the girl was if he used the lady's basically her belief in humanity to push the plot along what's his name, Corso?
No, I'm saying, so what my idea was just essentially is that if they spent more time showing Corso with breaks in his armor and showing a broken man who's given up on humanity versus Akima, who is coming from a broken home, like things were bad for her, but she still has this belief in humanity because she is wrapped up in this nostalgia, and he's caught up in the middle between these two. And then they're oscillating. I think that would have been an interesting and fascinating balance. But anyway.
So we've got the leader of the gang who wants to do everything for his selfish gain, manipulating the second in command lady who believes in the dream. Doesn't that sound familiar, Rob? You know, like a certain Kerrigan.
Everyone else, do not worry about it. This man is being Do you know how obscure that reference was?
Like, wait, that sounds familiar.
That's like, Chad,
But I agree with you. I agree with you, Buck. Especially when we get to the reveal later on, that would have carried so much weight.
StarCraft review loading, but yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's coming. It's coming soon.
as Extraordin said, yeah.
Yeah, I would have said this though. What you guys are describing, I feel like it would have taken at least 20 minutes. Like miniseries.
100%.
Oh yeah, definitely. But you guys would have needed
100%.
20 minutes to half an hour to get what you're saying. Because if you get the fake guy and the real person who really the believer and the faker, that's a cool metaphor right there. I could imagine that going perfectly. But in 19 minutes,
and I think you can fit it because that's what I'm saying. Like, for example, that stuff with the planet, like when you cut that stuff out,
yeah,
and you don't even have to have like a long scene. You could just have like a thing where he's looking at something, and you could be maybe looking at a photo of him and Kale's dad or whatever, and he's like, "Sorry, bro, we lost," and then like he just moves on, and then you like, what did that mean? It's like, I can't believe we lost or whatever. And then like, what does that mean? And then when we get the reveal, he's just like, yeah, he's given up entirely.
Yeah.
Like his whole thing is like, I just want to have whatever best life I can possibly have before I check out, type of thing. So I think they could have gotten it. Maybe not expanded it as much as we would have liked, but they could have gotten something. But anyway,
and I just want to
moving on.
highlight to that wonderful scene. This is where you get to meet the dredge in person, perhaps. And
Yes.
this is where I think falls short because we don't. One of the major problems that people, even in the movie, they ask about is like we don't understand what the carrying motivation for the dredge to hate.
Yes, that's
to
a
hate
big big thing for me.
To hate the humans so much, and we don't get that. This was the moment we met the dredge busy doing the thing and jettisoning the lady and stuff. We see it's almost like an automated hatred. It's nothing.
Like I think if they had time, like if they
Yeah.
had 20 more minutes, I think it would have been cool if it was like something like the dredge lost their planet due to something the humans did.
Or something
Yeah.
like that.
Like in the 60s or something. I don't know.
Ironically, I actually think I actually end up having a solution for this by the end of the movie. And I was going to ask you guys about it, what you guys felt about it. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost when you think about how it ends.
Lord
we'll
Shen.
get at the end.
You know Lord Shen from Kung
Fu Panda, yeah.
So if they had some sort of like the grandmother prophecy type of thing, that would
not even like that. Like everybody says like it's a phrase, humans are pestilence on Earth or whatever. I feel like maybe there could have been an expanse program that happened where humans are muscling in on aliens and basically building a lot of ill will. And then eventually all the alien federation says, nah, we done here. And then that's when they decide to blow up the planet. And then that's when, humans come up with this last vestige and they're like, no, we cannot, this species needs to be in the history books. If you get what I'm saying. Also, I just think that the dredge lacking a motivation in just being this force, like it would have been better off if a bunch of alien species that could speak and talk like regular people were like going after the humans or whatever. Like for example, Predex, the slimy tall dude with the arch in his back, I guess. If for example his race was kind of leading this thing and he was like the secret double agent that was just like, you guys are a blight and a plague on the universe, I think maybe then it's like, oh, okay, we did something, we messed up, the universe aliens want us gone for it or something, not just a big machine.
Or even we can go to the other extreme where if the dredge if they wanted to make the dredge this overarching threat, we needed to feel it, that this ultimate evil that's come about to wipe out not just
Sauron style.
Yeah, Sauron style. That then we'll have some other alien species trying to appease them by saving them and saying, no, destroy these other planets first. This what's the name? Oh wow, am I just literally just rephrasing the plot to Mass Effect?
Oh
yeah,
okay.
so like Reaper style. But this overarching threat, it would also have worked. Then sure, the less information we know about them, the more they'll add to the mystery and fear.
Yeah, something like that.
Which also would sell the story. But now we have somewhere it falls flat in the middle, where they're not an overarching threat to all species. At the same time, we don't understand why they have such a major beef with Earth in particular. It's like, for some reason, it's like
that's the thing. It feels very personal. So
Earth is like the Kakarot to its Broly or something. You know, you were crying all day and night, and that was all it needed. Like, you know what?
I think the problem.
But I guess at the same time, it's kind of like how we humans, we just have a feeling that we just need to destroy aliens or whatever.
That's never expressed in the storyline. I think the problem with this is, okay, fine, there's a problem with the humans, but then the story must then explain why human beings are special.
Paranoia or something.
But because there's nothing, because the technology, human beings aren't better. Physical size, human beings aren't better. There's nothing human beings are doing that is different from the aliens. So why are you mad? I think that was the mistake they made. It's contradictory. I think what you guys said about there being multiple writers, I think it's stuff like this and the whole alien attack sequences where you can see there's multiple visions here that have clashed by mistake.
And no overarching leadership.
Yes, because now everything undermines everything else.
Yeah, that's a big problem with this movie.
So
anyway,
I wanted to explain, because if you look at other IPs like Star Trek specifically, humans also have the same issues. They're not the strongest, they're not the brightest, they're not the most they're not the most technologically anything. But the United Federation of Planets chose Earth to be its capital because of what humans represent, their potential. Confounds all the other planets, and that makes sense when you listen to it from a lore story-wise in the Star Trek universe. You get to see like, wow, they managed to do what the other species didn't manage to do: get everybody to get along.
Yeah.
It's like quick shout out to Mass Effect. There's like a line where depending on which shepherd you play, but anyway, there's like a whole thing of where it's like the reason why humans fascinate aliens is because you could put 4 humans in a room and you would have 4 different opinions. Whereas with aliens, like usually we're just like, yeah, this is the thing, and they just, they move on. Like
in Star Trek DS9, there's a character named Quark. He goes into this massive thing about the negatives of human beings, where it's like, human beings are the nicest people on Earth, but when we go wrong, when you get put under pressure, we can go ugly in a way that even the Klingons don't even understand. And like,
I remember that episode. Oh God, we are such nerds! My God,
you were surprised.
But that's the point: is that human beings have an identity in all of these IPs. There's no identity for human beings here. So what? Why?
Yeah. But after that, Kale gets captured or whatever, and they throw Akima out the window. I don't know why they just didn't throw her into space, because I thought that was what was gonna happen. Yeah. But anyway, because they didn't have any mercy for the cockroach guy.
Kill the spare.
The Drex were being polite, I guess, because of that. He wants to slap his cheek, so let's not give him all the hope. Let's just leave some. You see, and this is
the Will Smith treatment.
And this also another thing that a pet peeve of mine is like, clearly these people can understand what the Drex are saying, so why bother speaking in this weird convoluted language?
That I don't understand. Because my thing was, that was a question of me with the movie. I was like, do people understand what they're saying? I mean, look, you don't need to. Like, I mean, Kale doesn't need to speak alien speak to figure out that he's in danger here and that like they're gonna blow up the Titan or whatever. But the fact is that they tried to have dialogue with this thing and they're like, the human threat, blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, does anybody understand you? But anyway,
so it always brought me to, when I saw these things, it made me think like one of the writers must have been a very angry StarCraft player who played against the Protoss, who lost against a Protoss player one too many times, and he thought like, this mother effing aliens that don't have mouths and speaking to each other in psychic language. How come they're speaking English? They must be speaking gibberish this entire time. I'm gonna make a mockery of them by making this entire thing because I was like, bruh, come on.
Yeah. So I mean, first we get the first plot hole thing of the movie. Because like everything with Kale I've understood up until now. This hour. So you poke your fingers to corner and then you can open up alien technology.
You don't have the password.
Oh my god, now I know. So this is where they took it from Steven Universe. I knew this thing reminded me of something. You know, in Steven Universe, when Steven was captured by Jasper. Oh, who am I talking to? None of you have watched Steven Universe.
Yeah, we still have to watch it, dog. I don't know what you're talking about.
We still have to watch it, but please go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. For the viewers, for that one viewer I met at Comic-Con who watched Steven Universe with me and we took a picture. Listen up, girl. There's a scene when Jasper had captured Steven Universe and they'd locked him up in that big-ass handship. Steven manages to escape the prison by putting his hand through it and realizing that it just tickles him, but he can actually walk through it. And then he also helps the other gems escape. And I knew it reminded me of something. They must have seen this scene because it's so familiar because he touches an energy shield and manages to create a hole with his bare hands, just like Steven does in Steven Universe. That's just for you and me, girl. End scene. Continue.
But all I'm saying is, like, to me, it was weird that he just had to poke his fingers from one corner to one corner, and then he brings them together, and then he can open. Like, I was like, for a high tech alien ship, that feels like a huge security risk.
That's a big bug. That's
plot hole number one. Plot hole number. I think this psychic alien thing was actually helping along because honestly, it had to be part of the plot because how convenient. Not only does this kid figure out how to break through by he also figures out how to pilot the ship.
Hey, Doug.
You know, I'm saying,
and
pilot it and remember, pilot it like comfortably, and also managed to send signals. You know what? It kind of reminded me low key of Battlefield Earth a little bit, where the humans are just figuring out the alien technology, and it's just like the aliens are not thinking. Maybe we need to put a cap on this somehow.
You know.
I mean, granted, in Battlefield Earth, John Travolta's character is so dumb that he makes the most dangerous human on Earth.
No, don't remind us. Don't remind us.
Oh, we must also forget that there was these humans managed to learn in a couple of months what it takes many other people years of fighter pilot training.
Yep.
So
it's like you can figure out all of that, but then at the same time, do you want lunch? Oh God! That's...
Also, shout out to how like groomed and braided their hair was in the apocalypse. I was like, yo, you guys are shaving every weekend. But anyway, Kai.
We'll talk about
Kai.
Oh, goodness me, that movie. We'll talk about that movie some other time because it needs to be talked about. We need to point fingers at that movie. We need to call names.
I must actually sit down and because the thing is like I've watched it like over a week basically type of thing. I must actually sit down and punish myself.
Damn, was it that bad, bro? You couldn't finish it in one sitting?
You can't.
Extraordinary.
Damn, I need to watch this movie then.
Just make sure you're not operating any heavy machinery. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble.
But anyway,
don't drive cars afterwards.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. So after he manages to figure and get himself out, he finds it. Before that, they go fetch a kima from a slave trader or whatever. And there's a scene where apparently there's like a smart slave guard who...
The funniest scene in the whole movie. That was actually fire. I ultimately laughed out loud. Oh my God, dude. Where it's like, okay, you're wearing bed sheets. That's not how the people of that race act. Dude, I was like, brilliant. Yeah.
No, and also the voice actor delivered in that scene. Like I was like, yeah, no, this works. And then basically when the predex is just like, does anybody have a plan B? And then this is when it gets a little bit awkward. So this is what I'm talking about with the proportions, right? Because her legs are in V's, right? I'm not sure how she spins to kick anything.
Exactly, bro.
So like I like I didn't go through it frame by frame, but when I was watching it, it felt weird. If I go through it frame by frame, they changed her body to make this work, and that's why it looks weird.
Yeah, but that's the artist's fault. I feel like the design.
No, I'm not. But I'm saying like the thing is with the designer, I just think that you should have designed somebody who stands up on hind legs, and when they squat, they have to squat in V's. I feel like she should have just been a tall, lanky alien, so that when the alien is kicking, it registers and makes sense shape wise. Versus this V now has to tornado twist. But anyway, yeah. I mean, the action scenes in all of the every action scene, especially fisticuffs and fight scenes, and even like gun scenes where they're shooting at each other. I think there's just a lot of skipping that is happening.
Movie is late for a meeting, bro. It's got place.
The pacing is insane in this movie.
But anyway, so they fetch Akima. Akima is back, and then that's when you get a bit more development where Kale is also. It's an interesting bit of dialogue because obviously it's them like growing closer together. Kale is into Akima big time anyway, but like also I think the other thing is he's kind of realizing his own fragility.
Yeah.
Like he's like realizing how lucky he was that he managed to get away from these aliens and like how precious like the way he was living, he was just kind of living moment to moment and he didn't value his life even. He didn't even value his own life. Where like if you go back to that the two aliens in the beginning, you could also say low-key Kale is kind of suicidal because he's bucking his chest at people he can obviously not beat.
Right.
So after this situation, you get to see that Akima surviving and him surviving, you can see he's starting to develop a little bit of a thing for humanity. So they're consistent with his arc. I just don't think they're consistent with other characters' arcs. And the thing is, with a side cast, you need to develop them as well because they are part of the movie.
Oh, side note, another thing that would have motivated the escape plan was if the aliens said no, imprison him, we're gonna have to cut off his hand in a couple of hours so that you can keep the map.
Yeah, that's true.
Just to add that little ends of sin, like
or you know what would have been interesting, right? Is if Kale threatened to destroy his hand in order to protect Akima's life or something like that. He's like, you guys need this. If she dies, I will ruin the map and no one will find anything.
And then they'd have pulled a Barbosa. Like, fine, then we will not hurt her. It doesn't mean we're going to leave her like we are going to leave her in the ship.
Yeah, but I'm saying then when they jettison her out and they give her a chance of survival, you at least can connect that makes sense.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Like, you know, like, okay, we won't kill her. We're just going to leave her behind. That would be a nice evil twist. Thank you, Hector.
Anyway,
forward to the point.
Then I think is this when they start hanging so basically he starts having nightmares about getting blasted by the thingy. So he wakes up, right? And then that's when he goes to Akima's room. Akima is changing. So okay. Because they needed no, I'm just saying the animators they had to do that, right? But anyway, it's fine.
Of course.
So then she's like in and then basically you're seeing their relationship develop because she's like in or out and he's like, yeah, obviously in. Who's turning down that invitation?
Also, can you also comment about the ship design?
I feel like it's a little bit clunky and all over the place.
Thank you. It who's watched I don't know if who's watched the 1996 animated series of Flash Gordon?
No, I haven't watched it.
I did. Actually, that's what I wanted to tell you, Kevin. Doesn't Kale look like Flash Gordon?
I know. Everything about it.
Even his top is red. Like, didn't Flash Gordon's top look red? And he had blonde hair, the exact hairstyle.
It's the hairstyle, and then if you look at the shape of the ships, the droids are using, and then you look at the ships that the Emperor Ming was flying. You guys see like, wait, haven't I seen this before?
Who copied who here?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
I wanted to learn that because when I saw the ship, especially flying around, it's like it looks like a weird hybrid between the Flash Gordon ship and an X-Wing fighter with way too much exhaust ports. So like, yeah, more. Anyway.
Yeah, I think a lot of the technology in this, I think they needed, or not even that. I think it's just because it's Uncanny Valley. I think it's because they're blending the 3D with the 2D that all the technology here just feels a little bit off. But anyway, yeah, after that, then this is when she says she's gonna take them in so that they can go trade. And I'm looking at Kale. Okay, so you're seeing the development between Kale and Nakima, which is good, I guess. But like the other thing is I'm looking at Kale and I'm like, dog, you were complaining for I don't know how long about alien food. The minute she mentions like frozen burritos or whatever, if I'm Kale, I'd have been all over that. I'm like, where do we go? My food doesn't jump off the table. Who do we trade with? What does he want?
Would have been a good fallback. Yeah, I agree.
Also, isn't it also we see a
no, they call it back, but I'm just saying the fact that Kale makes fun of it is what I find kind of weird. I was like, for the character that you guys showed me in the beginning, I feel like he would have been jumping at the chance to trade for anything to get some human food. So,
right.
But yeah, he does say like, oh, well, at least my food won't be jumping, and Akima laughs. So there's that. But anyway, then we get the random betrayal, which it's out of nowhere. I'm sorry. It's just there's no setup for it.
It's also out of nowhere because they spend the time specifically showing a flying motif where Kale is now piloting the ship, being chased by this weird angel thing.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
The beautiful song playing in the background, and you're trying to see, okay, he's developing daddy issues or something like that. And then, not what, is it 15, 20 minutes later, go.
Right. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. That scene comes first, the flying scene. And also, I just think also because of the 3D, like the 3D, the models in this, like, I think the way that they rig them and animate them, it just feels like flat. Like, it doesn't feel like we get an impact of ship flying and doing crazy things and his piloting skills.
Fun fact, this movie was animated by multiple studios. So it wasn't just one studio that got the whole contract. I know the beginning sequence was animated by one studio.
Yeah, makes sense, bro.
Other studios took up the different parts as it went along. It's basically a Frankenstein's monster of a movie when it comes to the animation. So you see, like, when you're looking at this thing, because if you look at Earth and at the end of the movie, the two different Earths, you see that one looks far more prettier than the other.
Yeah.
So, because two different studios. It was basically a Love, Death, and Robots.
In one movie.
Or Dante's Inferno. Have you guys watched Dante's Inferno, the animated movie?
Yeah.
It was like 4 different studios, I think, for each like act or something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. But anyway, so getting back to this, after the scene that Devilla talks about, this is when we get to close the book on Kale's like daddy issues with his dad in particular. Because what Corso does is tell him that his dad was a great man. And like I think Kale finally comes to the realization that his dad didn't come for him because his dad died, and like it's okay to miss your dad. Like that's what's happening now. Your anger issues is around the fact that you miss your dad. So yeah, this is where they kind of close the book on that, which is why Corso's betrayal is weird.
Yeah, it is.
Like there's no set, like
makes no sense
after the scene. So it's a little bit out of order, but I talked about the scene before that follows this one, and then we see Corso talking to. So also the scene is weird because now we finally understand that the humans understand this weird gobbledygook or whatever that the Dredge are saying.
No, you're supposed to leave it alone. You're not supposed to cut me out from the deal. What the heck?
Bro, you do realize that imitation kind of sounds like a language that actually exists, right?
But that's how it sounded like in the actual movie. I was like, why are these guys being sued? I was like, this is offensive. This should have. This is if this movie came out any year, anything past 2010, this movie would have been cancelled because of how racially profiling it.
Funny enough, actually, I do actually think. Okay, yes, I do agree that it was not set up, but if you actually think of it in a meta way, the bad guy right now is too faceless, way too faceless.
Yeah.
The only other potential bad guy would have been People Deck, whatever his name is.
Predex, yeah.
But ironically, his character was completely undermined by being completely incompetent in the previous chase scene on the hydrogen planet.
Yeah.
So that fell apart. In a weird way, it had to happen because you need a face, you need a bad guy with a face, and we're at the halfway point twist where something has to happen, where there's like oh no, something just happened. So we needed that for them to build up from, and we didn't have it.
So they were trying to make it. They were trying to make this thing a Palpatine type of character.
That would have
not Palpatine per se, because I like the thing is
that
Corso. I'm saying like Corso. The thing with Corso, the tragedy of it actually is that it does make sense that there would be a guy who has been at this for so long that he's quit. That he's like, there's not, like, what are we trying to do here? These things are made of energy. Anytime we kill them, they come back. Like, maybe this is it for us. Maybe it's our time in the universe. Like, other things have gone extinct before. Maybe it's our time. So I'm just going to try and live the best life that I can before I check out. So I'm going to get super rich, go to other alien planets, and it'll be whatever. I'll be the only human, and then when I die, that's it. That motivation I get. I just think they didn't spend enough time showing us Corso was broken inside.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been any of the people on the ship, but not Corso. Just doesn't add up.
No, I mean, like that's why I'm saying that's why if it was Predex and Predex was like part of the thing and he was the big plot twist, it would have kind of made sense as to why he was so incompetent on the other planet with the weird bird things. Because if Predex was in league, like if Predex was the main one, yeah, I'm saying like if Predex was the main one in league with the dredge, it would have been like, oh yeah, sure, I was pretending to be incompetent so that the things could capture you because I'm in league with them or whatever.
Like Scar acting all helpless when Mufasa needed his help the most.
Okay, but Scar means something to Mufasa. Scar means something to the different characters. Predex doesn't really mean anything to our hero.
I think a better example would be that guy who betrayed Blade in Blade 2.
But Blade saw through him all along.
Oh, that's true. But
no, but here's what I'm saying then. And then what they can do is they can escalate from there. So they can take Corso out the story via Predex at that point.
Yeah, but Predex still means nothing to us.
I'm saying he means nothing to us, yes. But I'm saying I'm saying rewriting that scene on the weird planet or whatever.
Yeah,
I would have taken Corso out the movie. I would have said Corso would have died because of something Predex did. Like Predex was intentionally ignoring things, and as a result, one of the dredge or whatever, they get Corso, taking away the foundation of Thingy's life or whatever. Right. And then that would make the connection deep that now Kale has a reason to want to kill and get rid of Predex because Predex took away his only father figure. I think that might have played better if they were trying to do that, but the Corso twist would have worked had they shown us Corso was struggling or broken somehow.
I think again, I'm going to shout out the better movie, which is Treasure Planet. I think the Long John Silver angle that they did there, better. I think they try to do this better. I think they did this better than the current movie.
Yeah. We should talk about Treasure Planet. We should do Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
I think we should do it. Rob, let's schedule it.
In a main sequence, not 3 videos.
Of course.
Yeah. But anywho, so so then we have the fight scene, and this is where I'm saying the animators here, whoever was animating, they just they were in a rush or they didn't have time, because like some of the punches that are thrown here, hands are teleporting and fists are teleporting and people are teleporting, and it's like, yeah, this looks a little bit weird. And so anyway, they managed to get away, and then there's another weird scene where is Dex from Wanted? Is he like, does his alien race have the
Bruh, that
ability
laser,
to bend
he
bullets?
bent that laser.
Like, dog, I don't understand. That scene was so weird.
Dog, the dude had no aim, but he managed to shoot somebody.
Like bend it like Beckham. What happened?
Flip, bro.
he had the force, guys.
And then also the other thing I didn't understand is why they couldn't open the door. Like he was like, I'll shut it down, but like they didn't have anybody to just press the button to open the door again so that they could fire.
Yeah,
fire.
Open the door again. Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't make sense to me.
And also, why was getting to the spaceship home base? You guys have
the thing is, I can understand that, because maybe if you're on the colony, maybe the colony has guns of their own.
I didn't see it, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I posit the theory that the colony would need to be able to defend itself. So maybe once they get inside and the colony's like, we're taking in all humans. So if you're against humanity and you're trying to do something, we'll take you down. We have our own weaponry. It would have been nice if we saw it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because
what I don't understand is so many refugees have technology that's able to heal them. Like, where do they get this such great equipment from? Like, is the government giving them this stuff? Because
there's no government. I think maybe I would like I can kind of buy that they would have worked their way around all of these types of injuries, specifically because they've been like on the fringe for 15 years. Like, I feel like the human race would have been extinct if they did not figure that out in this allotted time. Like, there would be no human race to save. So that I can kind of understand. I just think that the other thing is they should have shown us how these doctors are doing whatever. So maybe it's like a primitive way of doing things or whatever. Like, for example, fun fact, I forget which African country it was, but technically the first surgery happened there.
We had the first heart surgery. That's us.
Yeah, I'm saying no, not the heart surgery in particular. Like, there was people who were doing like primitive surgery before. Like when a baby was born, they were doing like C-sections when the baby couldn't be born. But it was like, it wasn't using all of the technology that we're using today, but they figured it out somehow, type of thing. There was also people who were figuring out how to like suck blood out of like poisoned blood or whatever into drips and things using particular plants, etc., stuff like that. So anyway, I'm saying if they showed us like guerrilla technology of how they did the hospital stuff, I think that would have made it more plausible, because they just have Akima on a bed after she shot and then she's standing up again and we don't know how. So anyway, yeah. So then they talk about how they have to stop Corso, and more development with Akima and Kale again, which is not bad. It's not bad. It's just you need to actually also do it for the other characters, because notice how we haven't spoken about what's his face, Goon. Like, Goon doesn't really feel like anything in this, really. No. And it feels like he was supposed to be a big deal. But anyway, yeah, so we get that. Then we get the Rocky montage of building the ship, which is actually a pretty good montage. I think it was like one of the best animated sections.
With probably one of the better songs. With one of the better Tony Hawk American Wasteland songs. Yeah. It wasn't just noise. I thought that was at least good enough. Yeah. So no complaints with the montage, no notes.
Yeah, it's like part of it, and also it's doing what I think this movie wants to do, because this movie's not focused on action. I think it's focused more on crafting and tinkering. Yeah. So I think the animators here, whoever animated here, were inspired to show like craftsmanship and tinkering and all of those things.
I agree.
And then
they wanted to make,
yeah, and then also you get the cute moments where Akima bites a sandwich and feeds and feeds Kale a sandwich, and you're just like, oh, okay, so they're official
Will
now,
tells
type
the
of thing.
whole
Yeah,
thing.
it's romance 101 right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so after that they launch the ship. There's like a quick little joke of the ship not launching,
Mm.
which I feel like if they were going to commit to the bit, it would have been like, oh, Kale would be like, he'd go outside and he's like, oh, I forgot to plug in this or whatever, and then but they just kind of say, no, it'll take off, and then eventually it just takes off. Um, the scene with the colony waving them off was also kind of cool. I mean, they tried to also establish a link between Kale and these people, and I feel like maybe if they could have taken some more time to establish a link between Kale and these people, that would have kind of been like
because
cool.
in my brain I was asking myself, why are these people even helping this guy to begin with? Like,
No. I think the stakes are high enough that I understand why they would help. I just think to enhance the movie, you should have established more of a human connection. Because look, they probably know the mission Kale is on to basically create Earth number 2. So
but
if
also that girl, the
yeah,
younger brother in the soccer ball thing, it seems like there was something there, but it was cut out, guys.
The Pele thing. Okay, wait. Okay. They didn't know. Remember, they only found out about Earth number 2 inside the Titan. They didn't figure that out before. They just knew it was going to be a good thing, and they never actually show that in the thing. So I feel like that's. But at the same time, yeah, no, it's fine. I don't have a complaint about that. I do feel like this is the point where we should have gone. Okay, Kale now cares about human beings. This is the moment where he cares about. I think another 5 minutes here with the Pele stuff, and I assume that's a picture of Pele. I don't know.
I don't understand how that soccer ball has been existing for 14 years and is still in good shape.
Technology, bro.
No, but I'm saying like, yeah, to Extraordin's point, I just think like it would have enhanced the movie had he connected with like how you were saying, basically maybe taking your idea of how it's Akima and then it's colony.
Yeah.
And and then like basically that type of thing. Maybe if there was like a sequence where Akima is showing him around this colony thing, and then they get back onto the ship, and then that's when the betrayal happens. Maybe something kind of like that. But anyway,
yeah, I was gonna say like Matrix.
Yeah.
Reloaded, when Neo comes to the Zion for the first time.
Yes.
There's people waiting for him and stuff like that. Maybe something similar to that, where like he really gets to like bond with them, and maybe they know about the ring or something, and then
something like that.
They consider him to be
maybe like Akima managed to send a signal ahead because she's just like, I gotta change this guy's mind about the colonies. That may be something like that. But anyway, them waving them off because everybody knows about the Titan project because it cost them Earth to make it.
Yes.
So I doubt that also all Kale has to say is, yeah, I'm gonna go save Titan, and everybody will be prepared to see him off or whatever the case is. Anyway. So yeah, they fly off, and then basically they fly off into this weird area. Then it turns into Enter the Dragon, spaceship style.
What do you mean?
No, they're like all hiding in mirrors and cracking cracking mirrors, trying to find who's the real one.
It becomes another movie. It becomes.
Guys, Enter the Dragon started that trope, right?
Yeah, Bruce Lee was there confusing people with mirrors, and they had to kick mirrors to find who was who.
The first one, but yes, it's the biggest one. Because I do remember another movie, Keel and Peele actually made fun of it, where they did something similar to that, but I don't know which one came first. But yes, Into the Dragons, where that mirror bad guy thing really blew up.
Because cartoons did that for they overdid that thing. But
no.
I'm badass at the same time.
Like Kale's ship was just short of wielding nunchucks because it was always confusing, confusing each other with the ship and everything. So after they fly through this, and also they also try to do a little bit of a character connection, a little bit, or a little character moment or trait between Akima and Corso, because they're the pilots. So it's kind of like, Corso probably taught Akima how to fly. And then also you get to see when Akima is flying, she's like fearless like him. So like Kayla's like, we should turn around. And she's like, we're not going to get another chance. And then also on the other ship, Predex is like, Corso, we're gonna run into this thing, and he's like, "Shut up, I got this," or whatever. So yeah, but again, would have been nice if you developed their relationship on the screen a little bit
Wait,
more.
didn't Corso like knock off Goon from like the from his seat or something?
Yeah, and I'm just like, yeah, inspiring confidence there, aren't you?
Yeah, because Goon, I'm sure, was like, "What the hell is wrong with you, bro?"
Hey, dog, no, I'm saying like that would have been, if I was writing the story, that would have been the moment for Goon to betray Corso, because it's like, dog, for
What did I
14 years
do?
we've been tied, now you just hitting me upside my head.
We're gonna follow them, and then we have to be covert. For what, bro? Why? Like, these people are allies. What
Let's follow them. No, okay, Sharp, you're the captain. Let's follow them. You could just tell me to get out my seat.
You know?
Why are you falcon punching me?
For asking questions.
Yeah, and I think also the punch was kind of awkward because like there's a lot of wind up in here, and it doesn't feel natural. It feels like Looney Tunes punches.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so this is
then
camouflage thing, right?
Yeah, then they. So long story short, Kale and Akima, they make it to Titan, and they're like, and then this is also where the movie kind of weirdly slows down, in my opinion. If you kind of get
But
what
they
I'm
also
saying.
realize that they're being followed, though. Yeah.
No, I'm not even saying
right.
that. I'm talking about when they're actually on Titan. They're like kind of walking around like they've got time to discover. I'm just like, you guys should probably be in a panic because there's people behind you.
The third act for me doesn't work.
Yeah, it's like there's people behind you that are literally trying to kill you. So you might want to hurry up.
Yeah, they should have went, okay, there's turrets on the spaceship. Quickly get to the mainframe, turn on the turrets, and shoot these niggas down. But nope, they were like...
Yeah. We have to find out about animals and zebras. I'm like, no time, run.
That's also something that I was wondering about. Like, okay, what's the point of us seeing this? Were they preserved for what?
No, the point is that that's supposed to be the indicator that Titan is like, this is going to be the thing that will save a planet or whatever the case is. So we got to bring back all these animals and all of that stuff. But I'm like, now's not the time to do that. Now's the time to secure Titan so that you can get out and get this thing working. So you need to get like Rob said. Now's the time, like Rob said. Now's the time to find weapons and all of these things and etc. etc. So yeah. So they eventually they managed to turn it on. We get a little flashback between dad and son where they were building the thing. And then like Extraordinary said earlier, we get a little draw L moment where Kale's dad comes in and he was like, if you're seeing this, I have died. I need to tell you what the sequences is and etc. etc. Never told him the sequence, but I guess Kale is a genius, figured it out.
That's Ron Perlman, by the way, is what's in the dead.
Yep.
So, I mean, not a bad voice.
Not bad at all.
Voice.
Yeah. But I mean, I think because maybe he was playing into the character of this dude is trying to save humanity and he's tired. Like he's away from his son and like he's just depressed and tired that he has to go through all of this stuff. I guess that, because that's the vibe I got.
Yeah.
And then Corso shoots the thing because Corso is just like, yeah, he always talked too much, etc., etc. And then we get the double cross.
Double cross.
Yeah, the double cross. You have activated my trap card.
You activated my triple agent card.
With this card, I will now have alien superiority, and I'm also getting paid by the dredge, which is like, okay, this comes out of nowhere, but all right. Then we have then a fight scene ensues, and it's just weird. It's just a lot of cuts and a lot of
because he steals the ring. Then I think they punch him down the stairs or something, or he runs down the stairs or something. Yeah, there's a lot happening that's unnecessary.
Yeah. And then long story short, Corso breaks. I don't know how he broke Predex's neck.
How strong is that nigga, bro?
No, but where is Predex's neck?
The That's a good question.
Just Steven Seagal, the giraffe, dog. Just
Yeah, dog.
Like a hyena. Like a hyena, dog.
No, it's like he turned into Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Right, he didn't even struggle with that nigga. It was not even a struggle. It was just like
and the other
one.
thing is like he looks like he's using like a jujitsu move, and I'm like, this is alien physiology. So the neck pipe is in the same place.
Hey, maybe human beings are strong. Maybe that's what makes us special. Because first he ropes the first two guys, and it turns out he can Steven Seagal any alien. I mean, maybe that's.
Was he a physiotherapist before he became a cadet, or what's going on here?
I'm saying like Rob is saying, like whatever military program he came from, maybe it's the super soldier serum.
Right, he should have just shot him in the face.
Yeah. Strange question. Why is he still fighting after that? Clearly, the aliens have no intention of honoring any deal that involves him. They've double-crossed him twice now.
Yeah.
So, why is he still fighting? What is Corso even fighting for at this point?
Yeah, that would have been the moment for his redemption, if you kind of get what I'm saying. Because then Kale can just be like, yeah, they never planned on us surviving, and I get that you lost, but we have a chance to win now.
Yes.
Like, literally a quick conversation, and then it's over.
Yeah. But anyway. He still has to fight, and then he still has to fight the two of them.
And Kale also, like, has to realize, like, doesn't have any spatial awareness, because Corso's clearly walking towards you. You might want to start backing up because you have the gun. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But that's gunfighting Hollywood 101. If you've got a ranged weapon, the closer you are, the better. That's how ranged weapons work in Hollywood.
Anyway, so yeah, after that, then he tries to save Corso. Corso manages to save himself or whatever, because now Kale is 100% Team Humanity. He's at the end of his arc essentially.
Right.
So then basically he has the idea that if these guys are pure energy, maybe we can absorb them into the Titan and power up the Titan.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Because the dad was like, the batteries are dead. Turns out warp speed is the equivalent to enough energy to create a universe. Sorry, I used it. Figure it out, son. Anyway.
Oh, that was such an anticlimax. Like even Akima and what's the Kale were like, oh, what the F, bro? After all of this? After all of this?
And then we figured out, wait. The dreads are made out of energy.
Yep.
For the finale, this kind of lost a lot of steam. Like, this is what I'm saying. I can see why, if somebody was like watching this in the theater, even with Uncanny Valley and everything that is happening and the uninspired like action scenes, I can see like the finale didn't feel final.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like they beat the aliens.
Yeah.
I feel like Deus Ex Machina and like the Deus Ex Machina wasn't like entertaining to watch.
This is where
they ate them. Yeah, they didn't defeat the aliens, they ate them.
Yeah. Ironically, this is what I meant by the self-fulfilling prophecy. Because they were like, there's something special about the humans that are going to be the problem. Well, ironically, you guys showing up as a battery source when you weren't needed as a battery source before ends up being your reason to be scared of the humans. Because it turns out we can use you now. If you hadn't done what you've done before, we wouldn't have known we can use you as batteries. But now we know. And the Titan,
that's what I was saying. From my clearest example would be the whole Kung Fu Panda Lord Shen thing. Had Lord Shen not gone after the pandas, he wouldn't have created Po, which ultimately led to his own defeat.
Yeah.
The same. Now, it would have been a more compelling story had like the Dredge had known or had been notified about this incoming doom at the hands of this rubbish species. And and now I'm quoting that movie, something to do with Riddick. What's his name?
Chronicles of Riddick.
Now I'm basically quoting Chronicles of Riddick because that's exactly what the storyline is.
I will defend that movie. But
no, I'm not. No, I'm not play hating. I'm just this is basically the plot of Chronicles of Riddick, because they found out that this species, the people from this planet will destroy me. So he destroys our planet only for the survivor of that planet to destroy him. So I'm thinking, wow.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like trying to imagine that Morpheus scene when Neo's learning about the Matrix. And then he whips out that Duracell battery and he's like, this is what we are now. And I was like,
the babies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we should.
Or it's like how Frieza destroyed the Saiyans only to get beat by a Saiyan. So
we are really going through prophecies, aren't we?
That's a strong trope. Turns out prophecies.
I blame the Greeks. If it wasn't for the Greeks writing the theater,
every Greek story like Oedipus. Gonna run away, and then he ends up doing it anyway. And it's just like, baby dog, if you didn't trip out and do what you did, you might have just been chilling with your family and you would have been fine.
Even to make sure that they continue with the trope, the first God of War, what happened? Kratos gets told that the God of War will ultimately destroy the gods. So what does he do?
No, not even that. Kratos begs the gods just to wipe his memory.
Yeah.
And in not wiping his memory and poking the bear, the gods make a self-fulfilling prophecy of the God of War wiping them out.
Yep.
But anywho, so then they basically, we get to see it rains on the planet. The model is not looking great or whatever.
No,
it's kind of not. It's like it's clashing with the 2D, and like we're looking at it and it's just like, this looks like a mud world to me. So I guess this is where humans stay now.
Fun fact, it reminded me of the Genesis device in Star Trek, where the creator torpedo that creates planets. And I was thinking the amount of energy requires to genesis a planet. Never mind the fact that this technology means it needs to create enough mass to create real gravity. So it needs to be heavy, and then continuously adding to this gravity to reach sufficient size for Earth, and then it needs to be far enough from for a certain stuff for water to remain liquid, liquid at room temperature, and then to cool down fast enough for this thing to happen, and have a molten core to have a radiation shield. I was thinking about that, and this all happened in a matter of minutes.
Bro,
Earth's technology is far more advanced than these aliens have ever thought it was possible. All these humans were just pretending to be weak and refugees this whole time.
They were just lazy this whole 15 years. Because it makes no sense for the Earth to just.
There was no scenario in which they didn't need the dregs. You know what I mean? To absorb the dregs. There's no way they could have built this without absorbing the dregs. What? Nuclear is doing this? Shut up.
Right.
But and then
And also, what was up with that tease, guys? I was so pissed off that they didn't kiss. I was like, this is it. Like, no.
I wasn't pissed off, but I wasn't pissed off, but it was just weird. It was just like, why did you guys just go halfway? Like, you obviously set the whole movie up for this.
Yeah,
you might as well finish. Like, I don't understand.
It was in the height of the trope of, we are not gonna do it. We are not gonna end the movie with the smoochies, because every movie was ending with the smoochies at that point. So they're trying to be edgy and different.
It feels like a Mandela effect, because I remember when I was a kid, I remember the Bob thing because I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I remember them kissing. It's a Mandela effect, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, it didn't make sense because they literally give cadence and lines like, I'm not gonna call it that, and you're just like, that's a line leading into a kiss, and then they just decide not to.
The soft talking as well.
And they just don't do it because a plane flies overhead?
Yeah.
The way Kale was Poontang Killer View on the Swarm in this movie, I don't even think he would have cared. Like, I think even if Akima was looking in the direction of the airplane, he'd just be like, come here.
Right, even if that was the last spaceship of the aliens that wanted to kill them, you could have been like, nigga, we're kissing now, we'll deal with that with the spaceship.
There's no such thing as cock blocking in that situation. It doesn't happen.
But also that, like, Castro, he just switched again all of a sudden. He just said, I'll help you.
Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot about that.
Oh
yeah, we need to address that. Oh, totally forgot about that. Shouldn't have. But anyway, again, not a bad idea. Reason being, like, the thing is, me and Rob, we just spoke about where it should have happened.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's not a bad idea that it happened. It's just the timing is awkward.
I think, here's the problem with that. Okay, what I think should have happened, they should have played into the soldier angle. A soldier is willing to die for a person, you know what I mean? For the bigger cause. But Mr. Everyman for himself, on the other hand, was not. So what they should have done was play the soldier angle and be like, you know what, I do believe I am a soldier for the cause, and then he dies. Makes sense. But that never happened. So logically, what should have happened actually would have been, well, if in a logical world, it would have been like, all right, kid, you lock this together. I'm gonna go back inside. You know what I mean? That's what would have happened more logically. But that didn't happen. Instead, he was like, I will sacrifice myself. Mr. Selfish will sacrifice myself.
And Mr. Daddy Issues losing another father figure. Do you think I was gonna take it lying down?
No, dog. He lost 2.
No, but I'm saying, like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
he lost
technically, like, what I'm saying is that if they were gonna do the whole self-sacrificial angle, right? So they missed the opportunity to do it on the weird planet with the bugs, because then it would have set up Predex or whatever. But if they do it here, and then like I'm saying, like, Predex betrays him, and then that's what clicks in Corso's mind that we don't do this, there's no humanity, and his soldier training kicks in and he remembers to stop being selfish anymore. And then the scenario plays out where he's just like, I gotta make sure Kale survives because he is the last vestige of humanity. And then he gets a last stand type moment. Then it hits a lot harder than just randomly saying, you gotta go, I'll lock these things in together. And I guess Corso did die because he was bleeding out.
Well, and I think
it's not.
But then that's another thing at the ending where you feel like Kale would want to see what happened to Corso.
It's also another Mandela effect for me because I remember him dying when I was a kid.
Corso takes everyone dying really well. I mean, he left the other bug person.
Yeah, just left him smooth and forgot about him. That's another thing. Yeah, I was like, what? But yeah, and then that's the end of the movie. Yo, we did 2.5 hours.
Yep.
I'm actually surprised. I thought we were gonna cock on this movie. I didn't even think we were gonna go into so much detail.
No, there's merit here. Somebody was trying, and I think you can always tell the difference. Like, for example, right, with Rebel Moon, the problem with Rebel Moon for me was that there's just moments of pretentiousness where I was just like, dude, you're not gonna talk down to me when you're this type of movie. I'm sorry. You can't.
Just upon itself. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, you can't now be highfalutin when you're presenting this.
No,
but like
if somebody put a gun to my head and say what's this or what's that the other movie was Gen 13, I'd watch this movie again.
I'd change the music, but I would watch it again.
Gen 13 had better action scenes, but I think the story was just weaker overall.
Yeah. And unnecessary tatas. I'm sorry.
I'd watch both of these.
That's a paradox. There's no such thing as unnecessary tatas. I don't like that. That's an oxymoron. That's an oxymoron.
Yeah, but I think overall.
As a member of the Alphabet Mafia, I can definitely be the leading authority on whether something has a tasteful amount of tatas or not. You are blinded by your hormones. I am not.
Okay, Mr. Henry Cavill. But anyway,
there can never be enough of Henry Cavill's thighs. That is statistical impossibilities.
Okay. But anyway, yeah, like I'm saying, there's heart to this. There's something here.
Yeah.
It's just that they've missed the mark on a lot of things.
Do you guys think it's because maybe this movie didn't know its demographic?
No. I think it had a clear demographic. It's not Gen 13. Gen 13 was confused from dialogue to action scene. This has a consistency, but its pacing and also its like lack of lore. It's not even lack of dialogue. I would say it's lack of lore is kind of what hurts the movie overall.
And I'll go into greater detail. What we learn from behind the scenes is that Not only did the guy who greenlit this movie after spending $30 million and then spending another 75 million in the animation studio, giving it to an animation studio that has never done anything related to sci-fi ever. That man got fired halfway in production. That's the former is it not CEO, whatever it's called.
Okay.
So he got removed from as head of Fox Entertainment, and then rather in the middle of production, and then somebody else had to come in. So there was the biggest weakness this movie had was that the people creating it had no sense of leadership.
Yeah.
Nobody had an overarching
Seems like
vision
they were
to say,
not as decisive as they should have been. Yeah.
I remember some guy was explaining how the studio was making so many different things like people can go you're not supposed to look people are not supposed to look wet after going into water for some reason in the animation sequences. Like what
Why?
for because it will look too sexualized, I guess.
Okay. Well,
And
anyway, I think we can wrap up.
Yeah, we'll wrap up. All I can say is this movie is wasted potential. This could have been the next Star Wars. Easily.
Yeah, but also, it spawned some comic books, prequels. Akima, there's a prequel, Akima, and I think there's 2 other comic book issues.
Is there a follow-up?
No, it's prequels.
Oh,
and then there's a video game that was supposed to come out.
Because there was
a video game that was supposed to come out, but it was cancelled.
I believe there's a book about it as well, because then they explain in detail why the Dredge hate. The Dredge in general, according to the book, hate all organic life. They find organic life disgusting. And I'm thinking, wow.
It's actually a worse answer.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily. It's just that it doesn't make sense that the aliens are cool with it because they're also organic.
Yeah, exactly.
So this would give credence to Tebelo's overarching villain idea.
Yeah, which brings me to the thing that comic book sounds so much like the Dominion Wars in Star Trek '69, because the Dominions also hate all quote unquote solids, but you can see that they are very distrustful, and the way they behave shows it. Most aliens don't like the Dominion. Unlike the Dredge, where it's like Protoss. Somebody in the reviews called them discount Protoss, and I've never been able to forgive him. I almost commented what's like in his YouTube. Yeah,
it would have been the right answer. Someone would have understood.
Discount Protoss, man.
But I think then we can close it out. So should I take us out, Mr. Extraordin?
Let me see if the camera will work. Let me try. Whenever I go into the camera, we've got like 5 minutes, so I can give us a chance. But I can't see the glory of the Protoss one last time.
Okay. So thank you so much for lasting up until this point. If you are strong. Please make sure to hit that like, that share, that subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so that you know when this channel is dropping videos and all of that good stuff. Follow everybody on this panel. So we've got more movies lined up like this that we're going to be talking about on African Frame / Africa's Next podcast. So do you like this delve into the 1990s, 2000s era of animation and everything, especially in the West? And also, how does this stack up to Japanese animations in the West at this time? I think let us know your thoughts on that, because I think like part of the reason why anime kind of had the huge glow up that it had is that Western animation was kind of going through this weird rough patch.
Facts.
This is the era where Pokemon and Digimon were huge.
Huge.
But not even just that. I'm talking like stuff like Cowboy Bebop was dropping in this period, and stuff like that, and
Ninja Scroll, and
I think the Western world was catching on to Dragon Ball Z in this time.
Yeah.
Yes, also, and Dragon Ball Z's animation was waxing this one, so yeah,
it was all 2D, which goes to show that 3D wasn't necessarily the be all and end all. It still isn't because
it was the mainstream.
No, I think it was mainstream simply because I think also people were trying to produce this stuff faster. And it's easier to rig a 3D model than it is to redraw a character frame for frame.
Yeah.
True. But I think there's also an element, there's a reason why Zootopia, even though it's not that good, still managed to hit harder than Treasure Planet, which is objectively a better film, is because there's some kind of like, there's a
Zootopia.
Yeah, it's not that good.
Yeah. With Judy Hopps.
Yes.
And the fox. It's not that good.
It
was great.
Okay.
You know, I've never finished.
Wait, Rob, you say it's not good?
No, I didn't say it's not good. I said it's a 7 out of 10. 6.5, 7 out of 10.
I've never finished that movie.
All right, I'm not mad at that score, but I do want to know your reasoning. But we'll find out. And also, Tebelo, you need to. And Tebelo, you need to also explain that. But anyway.
Anyway, my point is
ADHD. There's your answer.
There's an element of like spatial awareness and like 3D-ness that I think the modern mainstream audience likes that 2D can't do, that I think has managed to put 3D in the mainstream, if that makes sense. CGI in the mainstream, when it's done well anyway.
Depends though, because remember, the mainstream also laps up anything from anime. And anime usually is in the 2D space.
True.
Guys, like, we're not closing out.
Yeah, we were leaving. What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, we'll continue this conversation another day.
Anyway, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And also let us know if there's any other animated movies that you think from this era we should cover as well. Like, do you want us to do the Matrix? What was it called again?
Animatrix.
The Animatrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, do you want us to do the Animatrix or whatever? Let us know in the comment section down below and all of that good stuff. But
even the game Enter the Matrix.
Okay, we're closing. We're closing. Okay. But for now, we will see you all in other videos because we have to be out. Okay? Peace.
Bye.
Mazishe.
Mama.